Welcome to the European Organic Congress 2020, organised by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. And now, please welcome your host, Joyce Möbius.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere out there. Welcome and welcome you back to the second day of the European Organic Congress, Organic in Action. This special edition of EOC 2020 is brought to you by IFOAM Organics Europe and the German Association of Organic Farmers, Food Processors and Retailers. As your host for today, I am happy to help you to get the best experience in our digital event, to navigate and enjoy the EOC. And even if we can't meet in person, we can still interact. And for those of you who couldn't join in yesterday, let's really quick check how. Look down at your screen. There, in the middle, you can see our emoji buttons. So, if you want to give direct feedback to our speakers, clap or give them a thumbs up. And if you do it right now, you can see rolling in the emotions right away. If you want to comment on something, please make sure to use our chat function. You find it on the right side of your screen. And for sure, you can send in questions all the time throughout the whole Congress. Make sure to use the question tool. You can find that on the left side of the screen. It's a little envelope. And please make sure you always comment in a kind and decent way and in English, because that's our conference language. If you want to switch languages, do it on the Settings button down on the screen in the middle. Sehr verehrte Damen und Herren, wenn Sie lieber auf Deutsch zuhören möchten, dann nutzen Sie dazu bitte gern den Einstellungsbutton unten in der Mitte. Da können Sie die Einstellung auf Deutsch wechseln. Well, that was German really quick. And now, before we kick off, I want to make sure that you find the program all the time to answer all your questions. Please go to our website, organic-congress-ifomeu.org. Before we kick off now, let's have a brief look at the agenda of today's session, titled 25% Organic Land by 2030, How can the CAP contribute? First of all, we are very happy to welcome Wolfgang Bocher on stage from the European Commission. Second, next high-level speaker awaits. It's Walter Dübner from the German Ministry of Agriculture and Food. After that, let's switch back to Brussels and welcoming Norbert Linz, member of the European Parliament. Last but not least, it's Jan Plagge on stage with his statement. It's the President of IFOAM Organics Europe. Then all speakers will join in a panel to discuss our topic. And be sure to send in the questions all the time that you have. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we start the session, I want to know a little better who's in the audience. So, ready for a short multiple choice on that? When we start our question, you have 10 seconds to answer. So the question is, which profession applies to you? You have 10 seconds from now. It's still rolling in. Have a look. It's a really mixed audience, I guess. And now you know yourself a little better, and let's kick off the session. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our new guest. He's the moderator of our CAP session. Please welcome on stage the director of IFOAM Organic Europe, Eduardo Cuoco. Good morning, Eduardo. Really good to see you. Where are you dialing in from? Hey.
Hi, Joyce. Everything is okay here. I'm dialing in from Brussels. I'm at the IFOAM Organics Europe office that is now kind of television studio for this Congress.
Oh yeah, I know that. So right from the heart of Europe, that's really fitting to our next topic, CAP. Let's focus on that. I'm really curious, did you read the whole proposal?
Well, my colleagues and I are studying the new legislative proposal and discussing it with our community since its first publication. We have developed a strong vision on how the CAP should look like in future and a number of position papers to inform the policymakers. So I would say that IFOAM Organics Europe has quite a good knowledge of the new CAP proposal.
So then you're a perfect moderator for that. Eduardo, stage is yours.
Thank you again, Joyce, and welcome to all the participants from my side. I'm very happy to see that we are so many, hundreds and hundreds of people from all over the world. So if there is a lesson that we learned from COVID-19 is that we can use internet to be connected and be together. So I would like to start immediately with this session by welcoming the newly appointed Director General for Agriculture and Rural Development of the European Commission, Mr. Wolfgang Bartscher. Hello, Wolfgang. Welcome to our Congress. Welcome to our Congress and welcome in your new position as Director General of DG Agri. You have been appointed Director General last April. I have a question for you. Do you like your new office?
I like it very much. Also, I feel a little bit lonely because you're still teleworking for Corona reasons, but I appreciate the job. It's quite a busy place, I must say, because we had crisis management, we had farm to fork, we had the revamped proposal of the European Commission for the next MFF budget. So it's quite a busy place, but very exciting and excellent collaborators.
That's very good news, Wolfgang. And I'm really happy that you managed to find the time to be with us today. I know that you are very busy with all these legislative proposals and management of the crisis. So to short your time with us, I will give you immediately the floor. You have 5 minutes for your speech. Please, Wolfgang, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me start by thanking IFOAM EU and Bund für ökologische Landwirtschaft for organizing this Congress. I very much appreciate this opportunity today to continue our dialogue with all stakeholders. Also, evidently, I would have preferred to meet you all in person. Ladies and gentlemen, the past few months have been amongst the most challenging since decades. But I think we can be proud. The European agro-food system has proved to be remarkably resilient. All actors in the chain have worked incredibly hard to ensure that Europeans continued to have access to sufficient high-quality food, and this all despite many challenges. I know that organic producers were also stepping up their efforts and playing an important part in this response. I would like to thank you, as I would like to thank IFOAM EU for having us permanently kept updated on developments. Ladies and gentlemen, we learned many lessons from this crisis. Of course, we need a quick recovery, but we also learned that resilience of the system should be further enhanced. At the same time, this recovery and this enhanced resilience should be achieved in a sustainable manner. Here, the European Green Deal and its strategies, farm to fork and biodiversity, come in. You know that these strategies have been adopted almost 1 month ago, and some have questioned the timing of these initiatives. But I'm really strongly convinced that this is a great opportunity for Europe to bounce forward, for to bounce forward out of the current crisis and onto a sustainable. We are not starting from scratch. The strategy acknowledges that the European to produce sustainable way. Fully so. But this does not our responsibility to do more and better. Propose targets for 2030. Have our common policy agenda. Producing sufficient food with less input and better is our definitive task, and one way to do it is by increasing the agricultural area under organic farming to 25% for Europe as a whole, the key topic of today's session. Organic farming is thus one of the cornerstones of the future European sustainable food system. The impressive growth of organic production by 70% over the past 10 years rightly reflects the importance gained by this sector. Surely, it will be challenging to achieve the 25% target within a decade. We have to take into account the very different situation and starting points in member states and regions in terms of both the area currently covered under organic farming and consumption and demand. I see this as an opportunity to bridge the huge gap and to try to bring particularly those with very low shares closer to the EU average. To be realistic, there are a number of elements that need to come together to achieve this target. What are these elements? Firstly, and I think you will agree, we need a commensurate budget, we need financial resources to support organic farming. Here, the Common Agricultural Policy, and in particular its second pillar, will play a key role. You have certainly noted that against the background of the Green Deal, Recovery and Resilience, in particular the funding for the second pillar has been proposed to be increased by 16 billion euros by the European Commission. Secondly, it will also require a strong commitment from the member states to this design and in the design and the implementation of tailor-made measures in the context of their national strategic plans. The European Commission will, through a partnership dialogue, accompany this process and will also issue by the end of this year specific recommendations to member states to provide advice as to how to address the specific targets of the Green Deal strategies and thus evidently also including the organic target. Another very important key driver for change will be market demand. The Farm to Fork strategy recognizes that in order to boost the development of organic farming in the European Union, it's essential to ensure that both consumption demand and organic production grow in tandem to maintain the sector in a solid equilibrium. In boosting the demand, there is margin for European action as well. We will soon come up with a public consultation on the action plan for organic production. And over and above all of this, we should not forget that the effective implementation of the organic regulation remains one of the cornerstones of our action. And again here, we appreciate highly the contribution of and IFOAM EU. This is really critical to ensure consumer trust in organic schemes and products. With all these measures, funding, commitment of member states, side, confident of the organic sector, which will respond to the demand for sustainable produced products and also bringing benefits to the farmers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commission has set out its vision how to achieve sustainable food systems. We want to hear from you now. This Congress will be an important contribution to this debate. Thank you very much for your commitment, for your advice, for your recommendations. And with this, I will hand the floor back over to Eduardo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wolfgang, for your speech. And I'm very sorry that you cannot stay with us, but I'm also very thanks to you because you showed always availability to further discuss with the IFOAM Organics Europe how the CAP and other policy tools can better support the transition towards a more sustainable food system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eduardo.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now continue our Congress with the next speaker. Please welcome to our Congress the Head of Division Agricultural Production and Horticulture from the German Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. Walter Dübner. Walter, nice to meet you again.
Yeah, hello, Eduardo.
Hi.
How are you?
Second day, I'm fine, thank you. And yeah. Walter, I'm wondering, today is the second day of the German presidency of the European Council. Are you excited?
I'm still fine, and of course I'm aware of the huge challenge this task poses to us.
That's I guess, a really big challenge. So it's nice to hear from you, Walter. And I now need your help to start framing the discussion. 25% organic land by 2030. How can the CAP contribute? Walter, you have 5 minutes for your statement. The floor is yours.
Yes, dear members of the panel, ladies and gentlemen, these are really special times we live in. The corona crisis has not only a huge impact on our daily life, but also on well-established procedures on the political level and the civil society, as this Congress shows. Thank you, IFOAM, for organizing this outstanding event. And of course, also on the business in Brussels. Germany holds the EU presidency since yesterday, and we feel that the expectations of Germany presidency are very high. What are our priorities? Due to the pandemic, it is of paramount importance to us to relaunch the economies across Europe. Therefore, a lot of money is needed. This means hard and intensive discussions on budget issue for the German presidency. But of course, we also have to make progress on other dossiers which are equally urgent, namely climate change and environmental protection. As regards agricultural policy, we are aiming at moving the very complex debate on the CAP reform forward over the next 6 months. In this context, we want the future CAP to help strengthen environmental protection and climate change mitigation. At the same time, we must, however, bear in mind that the development of the rural regions, the competitive capacity of the sector, and the effect on income that the direct payments have. Organic farming has great potential to help address the urgent challenges in agriculture regarding environmental and resource policy. Our aim is that the support of organic farming will continue to be firmly enshrined in the range of political tools the CAP provides. The European Commission has described its position and expectations, and Wolfgang Burtscher outlined them just a minute ago, both in the Farm to Fork strategy and in its biodiversity strategy. The Farm to Fork strategy postulates very ambitious goals regarding both reduction and expansion. These are reflected in the EU biodiversity strategy. The Commission's strategies offer organic farming a great opportunity. By 2030, the aim is for the area under organic farming within the European Union to have been expanded to 25%. We will review and discuss this under our presidency and have intensive discussions with member states on this. It is already clear that additional environmental and climate services do not come free of charge. The multi-annual financial framework will play a significant role in this regard. In respect of supporting organic farming, the European Commission has also announced a draft organic action plan, as Wolfgang Burtscher just outlined. We warmly welcome this initiative. An action plan such as this offers a good opportunity to provide a harmonious framework for targeted support of organic farming in the EU. In addition to the new legal framework, the action plan is a very important political instrument for supporting the sector in its development. At the same time, we are also focusing on a clear target in Germany: 20% organic farming by 2030. We have enshrined this goal in the federal government's sustainability strategy. With this goal in mind, we cooperated with the organic sector and many experts to develop an organic farming strategy, and this with great success. This strategy for the future of organic farming encompasses a broad body of tailored regulatory and support instruments. We use these instruments to provide targeted support for the development of the organic food industry, because looking at the current share of organic farming in Germany, we have only covered half the way with regard to our 20% target. In this context, the Farm to Fork strategy provides a further impetus to reach this target or even be more ambitious. I sincerely hope that not only Germany will be encouraged by this new move, but also many other member states. Thank you for your attention, and I hand back to Eduardo now.
Thank you very much, Walter. Very interesting what you told us. Mm-hmm. And I have a very straightforward follow-up question. You mentioned that Germany has a 20% target. I mean, during your presidency, you will have to discuss the CAP, the Farm to Fork, most probably also the Organic Action Plan. Do you think all member states should have a 2030 target for organic land?
I'm quite optimistic that there will be a move. To date, there are some member states which are reluctant to have a fixed goal or a fixed budget for environmental, for organic farming support. But I think the discussion will show that member states get more open to this approach. And we will do our best to convince other member states to go along this way.
Thank you, and good luck, Walter. Mm-hmm. I ask you to stay online. We will see each other in a few minutes for the panel discussion. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now we move to the third speaker of the day. Please welcome to our Congress the member of the European Parliament and chair of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, Norbert Linz. Hi, Norbert. Nice to see you. It's a busy time for the Agri Committee. How are you managing to work with this crisis?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Eduardo. Good morning to everyone. It's nice to see you. Thank you very much for the invitation. Yeah, as you're right, this was a new challenge for us. We did a lot of remote meetings in the last weeks, and I think we were more or less the pressure group in the European Union when it came to crisis measures, and so I think it went better than I expected. We had some minor connection problems with some MEPs, but I have been constantly in Brussels in the last weeks to be able to chair the committee meetings, which we did more or less on a weekly basis, and we found a way to do remote votings to work on the most urgent files. For example, the transitionary measures or transitionary regulation.
Yeah, thank you, and well done, Norbert. I'm happy to see that the Parliament never stopped working. This is really reassuring. So, as the previous speaker, I need your help to frame the discussion today. The question is, how can the CAP contribute to 25% organic land by 2030? Please, Norbert, the floor is yours.
Yeah, as Mr. Burcher and Mr. Dübner mentioned before, the 25 organic farming goal is a very ambitious goal for the European Union as a whole. As you know, some countries in Europe are far below, and the EU average today is about 8%. And a good example is Austria. As you know, there we have in 2020 25% of farmland is managed in an organic way. But on the other side, the organic retail sector is only about 9%. So there you can see they are dependent on exports, especially in crops and milk, and a lot of products go to Germany, to Switzerland, or to Italy. Or, for example, when you look in different sectors, for example, the milk sector, there you have 30 till 50% export. So when it comes to the organic target, I would prefer a certain corridor. I think the aim should not be a certain number, but a range from A to B. I think this would increase the acceptance of all actors and would respond to the needs and demands of consumers. That would allow flexibility in extreme situations like crisis, which we had in the last months. And I think it would be not less ambitious when you compare it with certain numbers. And these targets, corridors, could and should primarily come into play in the discussion about crop protections, fertilizers, and organic cultivated areas. And this is not only my idea. When you look to my region, the federal state of Baden-Württemberg, we decided just last week, and we have it now in law, that we go for a corridor when it comes to a pesticide reduction target, and we decided to go for 40 till 50%. And when it comes to the organic land target for 2030, we decided to go for 30 till 40% of organic managed land in 2030. There you can see these are very ambitious corridors, and I'm of the opinion that we should do that all market-driven, and corridors would allow that. But to your question, how can the CAP contribute to these targets or corridor targets? I see a lot of there is a lot of movement in the parliament when it comes to the negotiations on CAP, especially when it comes to the idea of a global budget for environment and climate measures. And this global budget means that there would be flexibility for the member states to do environment and climate measures in Pillar 1 or in Pillar 2. And I'm of the opinion that's not important in which pillar the measures are done. It's important that the measures are done. So I'm very much in favor of this new idea of a global budget. But on the other hand, there has to be a minimum budget on the European level when it comes to environment and climate measures. And there you can see the European Parliament is more ambitious than the original Commission proposal when it comes to the so-called eco schemes, or when it comes to environmental and climate measures. We do not have an agreement on that, so we are still in the middle of negotiations. But I think this idea could help the organic sector a lot in the coming years. Thank you very much, and I would hand back to Eduardo.
Thank you, Norbert. You mentioned budget, and I guess a lot of people has questions about the budget. But first to go to the question, I would like to ask you, how are you working in the Parliament? You say you are still working, and when can we expect an agreement and a plenary vote regarding the CAP? And what are the main changes that you see in the green architecture compared to the one that the Commission proposed?
Yeah,
please.
So we have the same ambition than the Council, what Mr. Dübner mentioned before. So our aim is still to go to plenary in October this year, and you may know that the latest developments with ENVI, with the Environmental Committee, leaving the negotiation table wasn't helping when it comes to that ambitious. But as you know, the Agri Committee is still trying to work on the file. And I think you heard about that. Luckily, this week we had an agreement on the transitionary regulation. So we agreed with the council to go for a 2-year prolongation. And but you know, the Commission is still against that 2 years period. When it comes to the green architecture, as I mentioned before, there is no agreement on that, but a lot of movement, and in my opinion, a lot of movement which would help the organic sector to grow in the coming years. With this idea of the global budget for the first and the second pillar, for with a lot of flexibility for the member states, as as Mr. Dübner and Mr. Burcher mentioned before, there are member states which are more ambitious when it comes to organic farming, and there are member states which are less ambitious. And this flexibility, or this amount of more flexibility, would allow the organic sector to grow. So as you see, there's a lot of movement, and I'm still optimistic then we are able to find an agreement in the Parliament before October, and I see a lot of willingness between several political groups to find a majority in the Parliament for this.
Thank you very much, Norbert. Please stay with us. I'm sure the audience has plenty of questions for you. during the panel debate. So we will see you back in a few minutes from now. Thank you again.
Thank you.
So here we are with the fourth speaker of the day. Let's welcome on stage the president of IFOAM Organics Europe, Jan Plagge. Hi, Jan. So,
hello, Eduardo.
Freshly confirmed president of Organics Europe 2 days ago. Are you feeling as excited as the election of the first mandate?
Yes, but in a bit different way. 2 years ago, we got a lot of tasks from our membership for internal development of our organization. And now the focus is completely different, and the expectations are very clear. We want to act and have an impact and contribute to realize the goals of the European Green Deal. So this is really a big challenge and a big responsibility for all of us. And this is quite exciting.
Yeah, good luck, Jan. I mean, we have a lot of work to do ahead of us. And now, as for the other speaker, I would like to give you the floor for an initial statement of 5 minutes. Please, Jan, the stage is yours.
Yeah, hello everybody, and thank you very much for this opportunity to give a statement and recommendations from IFOAM EU, how the CAP can contribute to the 25% target. So first, I would like to say on behalf of IFOAM Organics Europe that we fully support the EU Commission strategies. So our sector supports a holistic approach, and no doubt, next to labeling policy, taxation, trade agreements, or public procurement schemes, the CAP is for the whole value chain one of the most important policies, and has a very quick impact on farmers' decision, because it starts at a very important location. So if you now step a little bit outside of the Brussels bubble or our CAP expert bubble, we look in kitchens or in farmers' offices on their desk and on their discussions of farm families and farm households when they discuss their own development and their decisions of their options, how they want to develop their farms. And you can imagine there's a lot of discussion, not only in Germany, all over Europe. Where do we want to develop our farms? Do we have a future? How can we get more sustainable? And the most crucial question, so what is our citizens, our consumer are demanding today and in the future? So this thinking must be always in mind for all authorities, institutions, politicians, while negotiating the new regulations. My experience is that farmers are very open. Organic and conventional farmers are open for changes and for transformation, but they need a fair and an understandable frame to make these decisions. And in that context, we believe that the change in the general architecture is more in line with this thinking, so that the member states and the local politicians has more responsibility to have in mind the local conditions of the farmers and to give guidance for these farm decisions. But on the other hand, if you have less rules from Brussels for the next CAP regulation, the supervision, the control system and the sanctions from the European Commission are getting more crucial to ensure a level playing field. So this is the basic frame. And now our recommendations for the contributions. First, the member states should have to introduce a national target for organic land in their CAP strategic plan. So this was already mentioned by the speakers before. And this should be in line with other measures of conversion of the consumption. As I said yesterday in my speech, we have to convert farmers and consumers in a holistic approach. Second, the member states should describe in their CAP strategic plan a relevant policy mix to increase both the production and the demand for organic products to ensure an independent and well-funded approach and an independent and well-funded advisory service to give a good guidance for the farmers. This is very important, and this is what we have, what we should discuss later on and in the next weeks and months. That this is a clear frame for the EU CAP regulation, especially for the CAP strategic plans. The third recommendation is that the member states should provide an adequate level of support for maintenance and conversion payments to organic farmers. And at a minimum level, at the same level as in the current CAP reform. So no backsliding principle for this organic farm payment as well. And what we discussed with a lot of experts, we see that the organic farming payments is one of the cheapest and most simplest way of transforming food and farming systems. The fourth recommendation is that eco schemes should be better defined, including their ambition and eligible criteria, and that they should be designed to be compatible and complementary with the organic farming payments measures. So this is very important for the farmers, that they have the possibility to combine the all-over farm schemes to additional top-ups. And our fifth recommendation is that the payment principle is going beyond the lost revenue logic to really reward the public goods through incentives and to extend the possibilities of the second pillar measures. And last but not least, the budget and the direction, the general direction of this CAP reform is. So we need a clear target and a clear message for all farmers in Europe that direct payments are a measure of the past that has to phase out step by step so that every farmer can adapt, and that we transform the whole CAP to a remuneration of their farm efforts, and that this is a clear part of their income and not the ownership of land and not the ensurement of cheap food prices. So this is very important, and for that we need to ring-fence the budget for the volunteer environmental and climate measures in our recommendation over the two pillars, so that addresses the different situations in the member states. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward now for the discussion.
Thank you, Jan. And before we move to the panel discussion, you mentioned the farmers. You spent some words about the farmers. You also mentioned the citizens during your speech. What is really needed to make sure that the CAP can assure and deliver to both farmers and citizens?
Yeah, a very simple fact that most farmers, or I believe all farmers, want to gain their income through fair prices. So that is the key, and not by getting subsidies. And the citizens, they want a fair offer and a good livelihood in their environment, and they are able to pay for the efforts for farmers. So a new CAP can contribute by creating a real good and functioning market for public goods, and not just for organizing subsidies. And this SWIFT can be a stepwise process so that everybody can adapt. But this is what we need for farmers and citizens.
Thank you, Jan. Please stay with us. Now we will move to our panel discussion. 25% land by 2030. How can the CAP contribute? We have about 100 of people connected from all over the world. This is the moment for you to start interacting with us. So please write your questions to us, use the little envelope on your screen, and make sure you can contribute. To start the panel discussion, I welcome again to stage the head of division for agriculture production and horticulture of the German Ministry for Food and Agriculture, Walter Dübner, and the chair of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, Norbert Linz. So welcome back. And I realized while presenting you that most probably you are all connected from Germany. So just a check. Walter, where are you connected from?
I'm from Bonn, the former capital of Germany.
Okay. Norbert, are you in Germany or in Brussels?
I'm in Germany, in Weingarten, that's in Upper Swabia, close to the Austrian border, in the very south of Germany.
That sounds lovely. Jan, I guess you are in BOEWL office, right, in Bavaria?
Yeah, I'm in BOEWL, so that's 28th state of the European Union, and that is located now in Bavaria, in Augsburg.
Okay, that sounds good. So we are collecting questions from the audience, but actually I have a very special question that is coming by a video of the president of the European Environmental Bureau, Johanna Sandal, which kindly recorded a video for you with a question that addressed all the panel. So I would like to ask the direction to send the video online. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Johanna Sandal and I'm the president of the European Environmental Bureau. When publishing the Farm to Fork strategy, the Commission stated that the CAP had the potential to deliver the EU Green Deal. The Commission's approach to ensure coherence between the Farm to Fork strategy and the CAP is to ask the Member States to include quantitative targets, matching the Farm to Fork key targets in their CAP strategic plans. While the introduction of quantitative targets is of course very welcome, there is currently no legal ground to force Member States to set corresponding national targets. Stronger safeguards and governance need to be written into law in the future CAP to deliver on the EU Green Deal. Although organic farming is at EU level, the recognition of its great potential for solving current agricultural problems has not yet been translated into current agricultural policy. If we look at the type of subsidies received by organic farmers, on average, organic farmers receive less indirect payments than their conventional counterparts. And this has to do with the fact that organic farms are generally smaller. However, organic farmers receive, on average, much higher agri-environment subsidies, meaning that payments linked to environmental performance will help organic farmers per se. Hence, adequate ring fencing for environmental measures is crucial if we ever want to reach the Farm to Fork targets. Agroecology, agroforestry, or integrated field forest grazing systems in particular have the greatest potential for developing high-performance agricultural systems that could produce a significantly higher calorie output per hectare than the current European organic agriculture. And this, combined with climate protection and adaptation advantages and resource conservation and development, would be optimal. So here's my question to the Commission, the German representative, and MEP Linz. You have the power to negotiate the future CAP. How will you legally ensure that the 25% target is achieved across the EU if it is not written in EU law, and so the CAP? Thank you very much.
So let me thank Johanna and the colleagues of EEB for sending this video, these interesting questions. Norbert, you were mentioned by Johanna. And the question is, you have the power. How can you ensure that we will reach the 25% organic target? And then I will ask the same questions to the other colleagues. Norbert, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So as Mr. Burcher mentioned in his speech, that for the time being, it's up to the Commission in the discussion between Commission and member states when it comes to the strategic plans to implement the farm to fork and the biodiversity strategy. But in my view, we have first what I mentioned in my introductory statement. That we have to discuss the 25% targets. As you know, I'm in favor to go for corridors, and that would allow more flexibility. And I would find it a little bit new, or that would be what we didn't do in the past, that we would implement a strategy into a legal framework. I think first the legal or the legislative process has to be done. For example, the legislative process on the sustainable use of pesticides directive and the other ones, and then this can be implemented in a legal framework.
Thank you, Norbert, for your contribution. Walter, would you like to answer the question?
Yes, thank you. I think, first of all, it's a question of money. We are still discussing which part can be contributed from the first pillar and the second pillar. We need a minimum budget enshrined in the CAP reform. And then, as Norbert Linz outlined, I think it will be very difficult to impose on member states to have a certain target. We did it in Germany, the Commission did it now, and other member states have such targets, but not all member states, and they are reluctant to accept this. So I think the proposal of Norbert Linz is a good one. I think that could be could help us to find a compromise on that, because we don't have so much time until October. It's 2 months, and and then we have the proposal and the statement from the European Parliament, and we want to achieve a general approach until the end of the year. But this needs a lot of work, and we have to narrow the positions of member states. And it's a very delicate process, because if you spend more money for organic farming, that means that direct payments will decrease, and that's always politically very difficult to implement. So we have very, I think, quite heated discussions before us, and yes, we are looking forward to find a solution on that.
Thank you, Walter. Jan, would you like to comment as well?
Yes,
please.
Sure.
Please go ahead.
I think it's not so complicated, and we shouldn't use much time to discuss this 25% target, because it is set and described quite smart by the EU Commission. That it's a 25% target for the whole EU, respecting the different situations from the Netherlands to Finland to Estonia to Austria and Portugal. And if you want to develop and discuss politically a corridor, you will end up in a corridor maybe between 10 and 50%. And this doesn't make sense. And the only institution which has the overview and the responsibility to negotiate the CAP strategic plans with the member states is the EU Commission. So the EU Commission has an overview and will discuss even with a country like Austria, which has already reached this target, or other countries like Sweden or Estonia, who are very close to this target. So they have already a lot of organic managed land that they have to contribute as well to this overall 25% target. So the only legal obligation, what we need, is that every member state has to set a national target and a national mix of policy measures to reach this target. And then the EU Commission can easily see if the 25% all over Europe can be reached.
Thank you, Jan. A very interesting approach. And I know that there are questions from the audience, so I will ask the first questions on screen, please. So this is a question for the Commission, but the Commission is not here, so I would like to address it maybe to the other panelists. How will the Commission make sure that the organic sector is well reflected in CAP strategic plans? I mean, this follows up a bit what you just said, Jan. Is there someone who wants to reply? Maybe the presidency wants to say a few words about that? Walter?
No, but yeah, the proposal from the Commission already provides for such an obligation, but I don't know if we get the majority on this in the Council. We have to convince, as I already said, member states to do more on it, and the range is quite big, going from Austria to other member states, which more or less have nothing done in this sector. So yes, let's see how the discussion will evolve, and then we need the opinion of the Parliament, which is very important too, because we have to find a compromise between the Parliament and the Council.
I have the Parliament here with us. I get the chance to maybe ask Norbert to comment as well on that.
Yeah, so I can only repeat what I mentioned in my speech before. With the idea of a global budget and of a ring fencing, so there I very much agree with what Jan Blage said. Yeah? That with this flexibility for member states, for example, just to think about the percentage, when we would go for a 30% ring fencing between the first and the second pillar, when we there would create a global budget, I think that this would help the organic sector very much, because then there would be for the more ambitious member states in the European Union more money, for example, for the German federal states to reserve or to allow to give more money to the organic sector.
Thank you. And Jan, you just addressed this. So I would like to move to the next question, if you don't mind. Please, let's share on the screen. So do you think the CAP should integrate farm-to-fork targets on pesticide, fertilizer, organic land? I mean, the last organic land we just discussed, so maybe it's more about pesticide and fertilizer. Jan, I give you the chance to start this time. Do you think we should integrate this other target in the CAP?
Yes, sure, because the European Commission has not many other policies. They have addressed the other actions and policies, but the CAP is, as I said before, very relevant for every farmer, and they can do it. For example, if they set all institutions set a strong strong limitation budget, so a ring-fence budget for volunteer environmental and climate measures to reduce pesticides, or to set up another way of a land-based animal farm systems, and to remunerate the change for farmers to these systems. This has a huge contribution to reach these targets, to reduce pesticides and fertilizers.
Thank you, Jan. Norbert, would you agree to use the budget as a tool to better embed the farm-to-fork objective into the CAP?
Maybe I have a question back to Jan Blage. Like to implement these targets on a European level, on the national level, or would you like to implement that on a farm level? That would be the first question. But on the other hand, I have the same opinion then when it comes to the organic farming percentage. I think first we have to do the legislative process, and then after a legislative process, it can be implemented in the CAP. But what would that mean for the current discussion on the CAP? Yeah? I think that would lead us to a new CAP, maybe in 25, 26, or maybe later. So in my view, we have to be careful with this discussion.
Thank you. And as you address Jan, I would like to give him the possibility to get back to you. Jan, please.
Yes, I can answer. So the idea of the Commission, as we understand, is to give back creative responsibility in their relationship between their farmers in their member states. So what they create is a market for volunteer measures for public goods, for climate, animal welfare, etc. And the reaction of this market is quite direct. And the observer is the Commission. The Commission observes the targets, reducing pesticides and reducing fertilizers. But the responsibility, and that was your question, Norbert Linz, is not on the individual farmer. It's on the member state level, because they are responsible to draft and to create the national strategic plans with their target, with their budget, with their priorities, with their possibilities of combination. And that is the market frame for the farmer to decide.
Thank you, Jan. Walter, do you want to add anything to this point? Or we move to the
yes,
next?
I think we all have the same aim to reduce plant protection products and fertilizer. Especially in Germany, we have a lot of problems with organic fertilizer. But legally, it's a little bit tricky, I think. We have then to amend the Plant Protection Directive and the regulations regarding fertilizer. And we have to look in more detail what it means. The targets sound very good, but finally, you have to look a little bit closer what plant protection products will be forbidden, in which regions you need a reduction of fertilizer, and that is not an easy task. I think we should have very detailed analysis on this, and then, of course, the overall aim is to reduce fertilizer and plant protection products. And the more organic farming we have, the earlier we will reach this goal. That's clear. Yeah, I agree to Jan Blage. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Using organic farmers as overall tool to reduce pesticide and fertilizers is indeed a good approach. And I would like to remind to the audience that the Farm to Fork has a target of reduction of pesticide and fertilizer of 50% to 2030. So a very interesting target. I would like to see the next question on the screen, please. Oh, okay. I know that this is a topic that is being discussed quite a lot in the Parliament. Do you think that EU institutions should decide about a list of eligible practices for the eco schemes? Am I wrong, Norbert, when I say that the Parliament is deeply discussing this point?
Yeah, you are totally right, that we are in the middle of a discussion, and there you see a lot of differences between the original Commission proposal and what we are now doing in the Parliament. Because we are not only of the opinion that there is a need for a minimum budget and the ring fencing, what I mentioned before. So there is a need for, in my view, at least for a minimum, a list of eco schemes, or where we can agree on the European level what is an eco scheme, but not a list which can not be or where it cannot be an addition or additional eco schemes created by the member state. So I'm in favor of an open list, but we are, as you know, in the middle of a discussion, and we have no agreement on the question of eco schemes.
And I have a follow-up question from my side. What do you think would be the role of organic if you come up with such a list? Norbert, for you. Do you see organic playing a role?
Organic could be a part of that. But that's my personal opinion on that. So I'm open to do measures in the first or in the second pillar when it comes to organic farming. But this is still a very conflictual or a very open discussion within the parliament.
Thank you. And Walter, are you of the same opinion? Do you want, as a member state, to get a list?
It's very difficult for me now, as we hold the presidency. We have to be an honest broker, and to outline the German position. Of course, we want to the obligation for member states to do something on that, but to which extent, I think that's very difficult to state now, and I think we should wait for the discussion in the council now.
Yeah. Jan, would you like to share the opinion of IFOAM Organics Europe on this point?
Yes, IFOAM Organics Europe has discussed very early, together with scientists, with farmers, etc., what can be part of this eco schemes, and we published at the beginning of this year a manual on what can be reasonable measures in the eco scheme. So if it comes to such a list, we have a very detailed view on that, and one important part is that we want to see organic farming, maintenance, and conversion payment schemes on this list for the first pillar, especially for those countries who has very low budgets in the second pillar. So this flexibility is there. We are very much in favor. And then it will be very important to have a good guidance on the possibility of combination between organic maintenance schemes and the top-ups for additional public good services. This is in the current CAP very often very difficult for farmers to get real and additional benefit between organic and other payment schemes. But let me share one general thought, and maybe my colleagues will remember the negotiations of the current CAP reform and the last CAP reform. Always, when the EU institutions negotiate such list or a catalogue of measures, then you get a low level of ambition. This is a political logic. Even if you have a high ambition, you will end up with a low ambition, because if you have a list which is eligible for everybody, the lowest will more or less define the market or the level playing field approach. So there, I have some doubts, or this will be very, very important for the Parliament and for the member states, that the same game as it was played in the last CAP reforms is not played again.
Thank you, Jan, for your thoughts. We still have 10 minutes, so I guess we might get 1, 2, or even more, 3 more questions. So let's see what is the next. So main argument to oppose this 20% of organic land is that it comes when it is too late, because the national strategic plan are very developed. Is that true? Maybe this is a question that we could start from the presidency of the council. Walter, is that true? Are all the CAP strategic plan already developed?
No, but we have one. That's right. Germany has one. Others have one too. But you always can change them. We have now the 20% target, but we have 10 years ahead, and we could change them together with the sector. But we have also to look at the consumer aspect, the market. There are some sectors where organic products are not have not a big demand, so we have to see the whole chain, food chain, and I think it's possible for at least for Germany and for other member states too. But maybe that there are some member states where organic products are not that known and not demanded. So we would need a special effort, of course.
Thank you, Walter. I don't know if someone else wants to react from the panel. Otherwise, Jan?
Yes, I would, because I get these questions even from ministers. Oh, is a CAP reform not already over, and most details of the strategic plans are discussed? So this is just not true. So believe me, and this is what we heard from Norbert Linz and from Mr. Dübner, where the state of play is. So we are still in a political negotiation of the basic act. We have even no details on the secondary legislation. We know all, and the Commission is guiding the national work on the strategic plan, so that we doesn't lose so much time. But first, we need a political result and a political agreement for the new CAP regulation, and then the CAP strategic plans can be finalized, and then the EU Commission can adopt the strategic plan. So it's not too late, and for everybody here and for all others, please engage in your countries, in your member states, in the discussion on the SWOT analysis, on the priorities in the CAP strategic plans. The game is running, it's not over.
Thank you, Jan. Very clear message for our audience. The game is not over. Engage, get contact with your national authority. Make sure that you will have an organic target in your strategic plan. So, is there more questions from the audience? Let's see. Okay, quite a long one. Does the EU legislation state that if organic farmer will get subsidies of organic farmer and participate simultaneously eco schemes with remuneration be double subsidies? So I guess this is an issue about double payment that we touched upon in one of the answer. And Jan, I think you made your point about that, how we should make sure that this is not happening. Maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, maybe an example, what we know from the current CAP reform, which happens quite often. If you are an organic farmer and get a conversion or a maintenance payment, and in your region or in your country is a scheme for a diverse crop rotation, then in some region it said there's no possibility for combination, because as organic farmer you already are paid for diverse crop rotation. And in other regions, you are paid for this. And so both is possible. Both is very often unclear. Sometimes the Commission is guilty that farmers get no payment. And this brings a lot of insecurity in the discussions between farmers on this CAP. So this must be very clear, that we have a clear and understandable level of ambition of the different measures. And even if I'm organic certified farmer, I can deliver more, and there are so many additional measures an organic farmer can participate, and this has to be regulated from in the Basic Act and in the delegated acts, that this is clear, and that the regions or the member states that there has to be a clear frame that this combination is possible.
Thank you, Jan. Norbert, will the Parliament work on that to allow organic farmers to be remunerated for what they do?
Yeah, so this is again why I'm very much in favor of this global budget and of ring fences, because that Jan Blackie is totally right, no? That there is often a discussion on the double payment, and I think with this flexibility, with the question of when member states could decide in which pillar they want to use that measures or want to put that measures in, that would avoid this discussion on double payments.
Thank you. Walter, would you like to contribute?
Yes, we have this double payment in Germany. The organic farmers, they get the normal direct payment for their arable land, and in addition, the conversion and the maintenance subsidy. So if we do increase the latter one, then of course there will be a discussion on the first pillar direct payments, and we will have an internal discussion on the traditional by traditional farmers who, of course, they don't want to have their subsidy decreased. But this has to be discussed now with the member states and then in the parliament, how we go forward to how we tackle this problem.
Thank you, Walter. We have a little bit less than 3 minutes, so I would like to get a very last question and try to answer it briefly. Is this very disappointing to hear that Mr. Linz talks of corridors and Mr. Durmer talks of discussion with the member states about it? How can we tap the climate crisis then? Okay, a bit of a polemic question for the panel. Norbert, would you like to get it first?
So, as I mentioned in my introductory statement, I think corridors are not less ambitious, but they would allow a more market-driven approach, and I'm not in favor to only discuss to discuss a target. We should more discuss what should be done. For example, we should discuss the question of the productivity of the organic sector. When you are in favor to do 3 times more of organic managed land within 10 years, then you have to ask or you have to discuss the question of productivity as well. And this is maybe more important than the question on a target or on a corridor. Yeah? But I just wanted to bring in this idea because I'm from a region which is very, very ambitious when it comes to organic lands, and we agreed between a green and the EPP government, or a green EPP government, to go for these corridors. And I didn't hear of a region in Europe which is more ambitious than my region.
Thank you, Norbert. Walter, you were also mentioning the question. Would you like to react?
Yes, as a presidency, we have to listen to member states, and if we can't impose our own positions, that is clear. We have to be an honest broker, and we have to find solutions. If they don't deliver the expectations that some groups have, that is quite normal in the political process, and we do our best to get more money for organic farming and to make sure that this sector will grow and that we can meet the targets we have set.
Thank you. And I understood that we have time for a very last question. So let's put the very last questions on the screen. Is there the possibility that the Farm to Fork orientates also education, regional development, health, and EU policies? Okay, yeah, I hope so, actually, from my point of view, but let's see what our panelists would say about that. Jan, do you see this possibility, maybe influencing the cohesion fund, the social funds, and this kind of policies? What do you think?
Yeah, education and regional development is part of the CAP. Other issues are part, like public procurement or school schemes, etc., can be solved through other legislative initiatives from the EU Commission. But as I said before, education and especially advisory and the combination of education and advisory services for farmers in this difficult situation for many farm families is very crucial, is very important, and this can be financed through CAP measures. but not as it is or it was today. Today, it is much more complicated to get an advisory payment because of a very complicated scheme in this European advisory subsidy services. So we address it quite often that this has to be changed, and that groups of farmers who organize in cooperatives, etc., get easier access to good farm advisory services.
Thank you very much, Jan. Walter, you mentioned the German strategy for organic farming. In a way, could we say that such a strategy like the one you have for organic farming is amending, also actions into health, education, and so on? Is this something that you considered?
It's at least a good example how it can work. Jan Plage is not always content with that, with what we propose, or especially the budget is not high enough to implement all his ideas especially on education and advisory and research. But of course, that is a good example which other member states could use and which could be further developed. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this links also very much with the next session about the action plan and how we can use different policies to support organic development. Norbert, would you like to have your last final word on this question?
Oh, so there I fully, or I would bring in the idea that the one question is to how can these sectors contribute, or these things contribute from the CAP budget, but we should more think about how can we contribute from the Next Generation EU fund. I think that's another idea we have to discuss. We have to discuss, for example, in the research sector, but I think as well in the sectors or in the question mentioned by the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Norbert. Thank you to all of you. And now I would like to ask the audience to help me to close this panel discussion with a round of virtual applause for our panelists. Thank you very much. Click on the icon and send your applause to our panelists. I was honored to have moderated such an interesting discussion. So thank you again to all of you. And my time is over now. It's time to give back the line to the studio in Düsseldorf, back to Joyce. Thank you again to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eduardo, for that great and really dense discussion. You see the clapping and thumbs up still rolling in because we were about like 420 people watching your CAP discussion. So not bad, I think. And I wonder, yeah, really good, actually. I'm German, so, not bad is really good. So was there any panel statement which you thought was exceptionally interesting or surprising to you?
Joyce, I think all the panelists gave some hope that reaching 25% organic target is not an utopia. I mean, they see it in a different way, and there is indeed a lot of work that remains to be done. I think this work is work that has to be done by us, IFOAM Organics Europe, by the European Commission, by the European Parliament, by the member states, but by the overall organic movement. So my takeaway from this session is that we all need to work together towards a new policy settings that is able to reach the objectives of the European Green Deal.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Eduardo. And speaking of sharing, we also would like to know from the audience, what do you think about the potential of CAP has for organic? So let's do a quick poll on that. When we start the interaction, you have 10 seconds to answer the question. And the question is, do you think the new CAP will be able to support the 25% organic land objective? You have 10 seconds from now. Well, I have a look, Eduardo. It's maybe the most used option of our audience. So what do you think about that? Do you agree?
Well, I would say maybe yes, I would have done the same because as we could see, the discussion is still going on, so we don't know what will be the final outcome. Let me stress one point, Joyce. I think the CAP will be really one of the main instruments to organic development, but we need a set of holistic we need a set of policies to get an holistic approach to organic development. We have to make sure that we take into account all the processes from farm to fork. So some part of this process will not be in the CAP. But more of that, we as organic sector, we have to make sure that our development will go hand in hand with the principles that we have of health, care, ecology, and fairness. And we should always keep them in mind when we think about scaling up organic farming.
Yeah, totally agree. So for now, thank you very much, Eduardo. It was great to have you here and moderating this session. Really, really, really interesting. Next, ladies and gentlemen, after a break, we come to our next session, Organic in Action, the power of a good plan, with really interesting panel in 3 breakout sessions you can choose between. And speaking of Organic Action Plan, to warm you all up, we have a small but excellent input right now. Jürgen Sanders from German Thünen Institute will pitch the key aspects of German Organic Action Plan and how it could contribute to the goal of the German Coalition Treaty of 20% organic until 2020. So, Eduardo, I would say the stage is Jürgen Sanders, right?
Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to share some experiences about the German Organic Action Plan with you, and I would like to start my presentation with a number, 20. 20% are possible. Various ministers of agriculture have said this. And indeed, an organic area share of 20% is today not a utopia, but has become a realistic possibility. However, to achieve this target, a comprehensive organic action plan is needed, such as the organic farming forward-looking strategy of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. The main aim of this action plan is to enable a further growth of organic farming. And this growth is urgently needed. On May 3rd, for example, we had our so-called overshoot day. Since then, we have already used in Germany the ecological resources that Earth can regenerate in this year. And therefore, we have to find ways to produce food with fewer resources and less environmental damages, to reduce the pollution of water bodies, and to enhance biodiversity. And one way to do this is organic farming. Besides this, there was also an economic argument for the implementation of the action plan. In the last years, demand for organic products grew faster than supply, indicating that farmers did not fully utilize the given market potentials. And in order to change this, the action plan, in German called Zukunftsstrategie ökologischer Landbau, or in short ZÖL, was developed 4 years ago. During the preparation, 5 action areas were identified, for example, regarding the legal framework or the performance of organic farming. And for each action area, a number of policy measures were developed in addition to the already existing instruments, legal, financial, research, and other measures. In the following, I like to present 4 of them. We all know that organic farmers provide a range of additional environmental services. However, they are not really adequately paid for this. And therefore, a performance-oriented remuneration system is currently developed within the ZÖL. Strong supply chains are a key factor for the development of the organic market. And therefore, building trustful cooperation among actors is supported to reduce both sales and procurement risk within the value chain. Currently, relatively few restaurants and canteens offer organic food. Thus, the hospitality sector has an enormous market potential. And to utilize this market potential, a scheme has been prepared to promote the provision of individual advice to food and catering service providers. And fourthly, innovations. Innovations in plant protection products from natural substances are important to improve the performance of organic agricultural systems. And therefore, the ministry aims to increase the availability of such products by improving the approval system. If you ask me about a special feature of the German Organic Action Plan, I would probably tell you that more than 200 different actors have worked together to develop the action plan, guided by the conviction that only together the organic sector can be strengthened. And furthermore, it's essential that you have a binding time schedule for the next 5 to 10 years. At the same time, it is, however, also necessary that you have flexibility to adapt the plan to changing framework conditions. Besides this, there are further lessons learned. A successful action plan requires, for example, sufficient resources, resolute action and implementation. And it is necessary to build bridges, lines, with actors of the conventional sector, as well as the civil society. In the past years, we have seen a quite positive development. The organic area grew more than 100,000 hectares per year. In order to achieve a similar growth in the coming years, it's important to see the great opportunities of a further expansion. It's important not only to consider the 20% figure, but it's also important to draw a picture, to make clear what it actually means. 20% organic farming means, for example, more biodiversity, less soil erosion, less nutrient surpluses, and more diverse landscapes. And this not only on few spots, but across the whole country. Because organic farming creates more jobs and added value, a further growth of organic farming would also have a positive impact on the development of rural areas, providing new perspectives for the rural population. And, of course, it may also contribute that we handle our food differently in the future, that we reconsider our food consumption patterns and have a higher appreciation of food. Well, 20% are possible. Somebody else would probably say 20% organic, yes, we can. Yes, we can change our agricultural production towards a truly sustainable food system. And if we do it in the right way, we could probably achieve even more. Thank you very much.
So, hello again, last time. So, what do you think, Eduardo? German Organic Action Plan, good tool?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect bridge for the next session. And let me say, it's always a pleasure to listen to Jörn and his presentations. I think he told us a very clear message that further growth of organic would have a positive impact on the development of rural areas by providing more jobs and providing more added value. But also he said that more organic means more biodiversity, less soil erosion, and more diverse landscape. So it's indeed a good sector to invest in, also for public authorities. So if we look at the target 35% after this session, I would say it's not an utopia. There's a lot of work to be done, and we need a very strong European action plan to make this become a realistic possibility. So if you allow me, Joyce, I would like to close mentioning a sentence that I love. Don't panic. The future is organic.
So nothing to add, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you join the European Organic Congress after the break in the afternoon. For more information, visit the website always, organic-congress-ifoam.eu.org. See you back 12 a.m. sharp. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you for being part of the European Organic Congress 2020, organized by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. It's time for a break. Thank you and see you soon. To the European Organic Congress 2020, organized by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. And now, please welcome your host, Joyce Möbius.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and welcome back to the European Organic Congress 2020, Organic in Action. This special digital event is organized by IFOAM Organics Europe and the German Association of Organic Farmers, Food Processors and Retailers, BOEWL. And even if we can't be together in one room today, we still like you to engage with us. Let's see really quick again how that works. First of all, you can always use our emoji buttons. You found them down there on your screen in the middle. It's a thumb up or a clap if you like what our speakers say or do. Of course, you can also comment on what's being said. Use our chat function for that. You find that down on your screen on the right side. And last but not least, of course, you can always send in your questions. Please use our question tools for that. It's a little envelope shown on the left side of your screen. And please make sure you do that in English and in a decent and kind way, whatever you command. And make sure you do it in English, because that's our Congress language. If you want to switch to German, go to our Settings button. It's down on your screen. Sehr verehrte Damen und Herren, wenn Sie dem Kongress lieber auf Deutsch folgen möchten, dann gehen Sie mal unten auf das kleine Rädchen Einstellungen und switchen dort in die deutsche Sprache. So, that was German. If you have any further questions towards the Congress, then just visit our website. It's organic-congress-ifoam.eu.org. So, before we kick off now, let's have a very brief view on the agenda of this session. The topic is Organic in Action, the power of a good plan. We start with the statements of two high-ranking speakers. First is Nathalie Soos-Vendeweijer from the European Commission and Thomas Fertel from IFOAM Organics Europe. Those speakers then join in to discuss our main topic, Organic in Action, the power of a good plan. After the talk, it's you to choose, because we dive into our breakout sessions and have 3 options on that. Let's have a look. First breakout session is how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to make farming more resilient. Choice number 2, how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to strengthen the organic value chain. And last but not least, number 3, how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to promote organic conversion through more organic demand. And no worries, ladies and gentlemen, you won't miss anything, because after the breakout session, we join in together on main stage to discuss the results. And like on the first day of EOC, after all of that, we do a quick wrap up and have an outlook of the 3rd and final day of EOC. And now let's go, but I hear from the director that our moderator is not here yet. So let's see. I still introduce him a little to you. Yeah, okay. So it will be moderated, the next session on Organic Action Plan, by the director of the German Association of Organic Farmers, Food Processors and Retailer, Peter Röhrig. But we not have him yet online. Now you can see it's a digital event, and sometimes we have some issues with the technique. But maybe I do a short wrap up on the morning and tell you how you can rewatch this. So for every session that we do in that Congress, we will have a documentation. It will be online on our website of IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL from the next week. You can rewatch all sessions, the videos, because they are being taped all the time. And you have also all the documentation things online. So make sure you watch that, rewatch it, and maybe tell a friend who missed the whole EOC. Well, direction, do we have him online already? Okay. Okay, yeah. So please stay in touch. We will be back really soon. See you.
Unfortunately, we have to interrupt our program due to unforeseen technical issues. Please be patient. We'll be back soon.
Thanks for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. And now let's go. For the moderation of the session on organic action plans, please welcome the Director of BOEWL, Peter Röhrig. Woo, Peter, good to finally see you. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm fine. I had to do a restart and now I'm very happy to stay here with you.
Yeah, we are as well. So I guess you already watched the EOC yesterday and this morning. So what do you think about the discussion so far?
Yeah, the Farm and to Fork strategy and the discussion here with you, with all the participants at the Congress, give me hope that we can change agriculture and nutrition.
Yeah, we hope so too. And for now, I wish you a great session with your great experts. Peter, stage is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to our session, Organics in Action, the Power of a Good Plan. Within the next months, the EU Commission is going to present an action plan to enhance organic agriculture throughout Europe by increasing the share of organic agriculture in Europe to 25% by 2030, which will produce cleaner water, more biodiversity, better nutrition, and more prospects for farmers. Many member states and regions have developed their own action plans in recent years and have gained experience in their implementation. In the next hour and a half, we would like to discuss with you what we can learn from each other by designing such action plans. Please welcome Ms. Suus van der Wever and Mr. Verte. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Thomas. Welcome to our conference. Natalie, I hope you have a cup of coffee next to you and a good internet connection, isn't it?
The internet connection is good. So good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon, Thomas, and the participant of this congress. I'm really glad to be with you today because it's really the right moment to discuss this action plan, which is in preparation. And so I'm really happy. I would have preferred to be in Berlin, but with the new technology, I can be with us, and that is perfect.
So it's fine. And Thomas, are you as well prepared for this session like Natalie, or have you some trouble like me?
I hope I'm well prepared. I've got additionally a cup of tea. And, well, thank you, Peter. Good afternoon, Natalie. Good afternoon to all the participants of this session. I guess most of us have been attending the session on the Common Agricultural Policy in the morning as well, and I think it was really a good preparation, and we can really directly follow up on this, and I'm looking forward to the debate in this session.
So everything fits, and so we can look forward to our session. Now I'd like to introduce Natalie Susan van der Wever. She's the director of the DG Agri in the European Commission, who's going to tell us what ideas the Commission has for the action plan. Thomas, we will be back in 3 minutes. Natalie, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you, Peter. So, sustainability, and in particular sustainable agriculture, is really a priority for the European Commission and the European Union since a certain number of months. We had in December the adoption of the communication on Green Deal, and more recently in May the adoption of 2 strategies, Farm to Fork and biodiversities. And what is really new in this strategy is that we have fixed a certain number of targets. And one of the targets is the 25% of lands as organic by 2030. And it's really ambitious, but also it's a sign that for Europe, we are in the transition to a sustainable food system. Our Commissioner, Mr. Wojciechowski, has already announced the preparation of an action plan last year in its hearing in the Parliament. But now we can consider this action plan as really the right instrument to pave the way towards this 25% target. Just after the summer break, we will launch a public consultation on this action plan to have the possibility to test our idea, because we have, of course, some idea inside the Commission, but to test the idea and also to collect ideas. So everybody will have the possibility to participate to this consultation and to contribute to the action plans. What is important, the objective of action plan is, of course, to have the growth of the sector and to have an increase of the demand, but we need to maintain the balance, because the two elements are to be seen together. If we have no balance, there is a risk of depletion of the sector, and also that the consumer will not be happy. So that is a little bit the idea of this action plan. It's to find action to increase the demand. So we can have promotion, information, so actions to go in the sense of the more conversion. And for that, of course, the member state will have a role to play, because we have the CAP, we have a lot of instruments in the ongoing CAP and the future CAP. But it's not only at Commission level, but the member state has to do that. So we have also learned a lot from the ongoing action plan. There was some success, for example, the electronic certificate for inspection, and also a lot of projects in Horizon 2020 for research. But of course, we have also to see what was not perhaps well functioning, and we have to take the lesson from that, in particular, to perhaps to be more concrete. But we need the full support of the other institution, the member state, but also, first of all, of you. It's not only at the Commission level we can do something, but we need all the participants of the sector. So I will be in a listening mode today to see we have the three breaks down session. And I will be happy to discuss with you later on. Thank you.
Thanks, Natalie. I think your clarification were very helpful. Thomas, let me introduce you. You are in the board of IFOAM Organic Europe, and you are speaking to us from Vienna, I think. Where you work for the umbrella organization for the organic farmers in Austria. You will give us the IFOAM position to the organic action plan. Thomas, we are looking forward to hear what you have to say about the action plan. Natalie, we will be back here in 3 minutes. Thomas, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you, Peter. Yes, exactly. I'm speaking from Vienna, from the BOEWL Austria office here. First of all, I would like to say that we, as IFOAM Organics Europe, very much appreciate the acknowledgement of organic farming in the European Green Deal, in the Farm to Fork strategy and in the biodiversity strategy. Natalie has been referring to this. I think obviously the European Commission is aware of the opportunities lying in organic farming and is using organic farming, food and farming, as a strategic approach to achieve European objectives. And the 25% goal in 2030 is ambitious. And of course, it requires an ambitious plan and actions to achieve it. That's why we very much welcome as well the announcement of Commissioner Wojciechowski to come up with a new organic action plan to replace the outgoing action plan. Actually, he did it, as Natalie said, already at the very beginning of his period as commissioner, before the new Green Deal was even published. The organic movement is very eager to contribute to the new organic action plan. We have already been submitting some proposals to the European Commission, and we will do this in the weeks to come as well. For the beginning, I would like to raise two main points. The first one is, obviously, there's no specific measure you can take and then you achieve the 25%. What is needed is a set of measures, and we need to really integrate organic aspects in all relevant policies. First of all, the CAP and research and development, but as well broader policies like climate, biodiversity, circular economy, you name it. Many of these policies can contribute to the development of organic farming. And secondly, I would like to refer to a rather formal but still important aspect. We think one of the limitations of the outgoing action plan is that the absence of quantitative and time-bound objectives and the dedication of clear budgets. And I think this should change with the new organic action plan. So, in a nutshell, IFOAM Organics Europe is strongly advocating for an European action plan, integrating the needs of organic food and farming into all relevant policy areas and defining concrete targets and dedicated budgets. And of course, IFOAM Organics Europe is available as a reliable partner for the development of these action plans. So thanks for your attention for the beginning, and I give the floor back to Peter.
Thanks, Thomas, for your point of view. And now we have 5 minutes for a little talk. I have a first question to Natalie. What concerns of Thomas can the organic action plan take up?
Yes, I have I'm taking note of this request, and I think yes, we can of course improve the type of the type of document, the type of action, and it will be important to have clear objectives. On the budget request, the action plan, it's communication. It's not possible to have really a budget linked to this. But of course, we have the budget in the policy. We have the budget in the CAP. We have the budget, I was referring to promotion. We have a certain budget for promotion. Again, Horizon Europe, the research, we will have. And so it will be a commitment to use part of this budget specifically for the objective of the 25% and to achieve this objective. So I think we can do that, but not perhaps directly in the action plan as such. But that will be clearly a commitment from the Commission to use the budget for organic activities. And that is, I think, important. And for the target, we will try to define the action and to see what could be the possible achievement. As you said, we have 10 years to achieve the target, and we need to put this in place, but step by step, and we'll see what is feasible. And of course, we will discuss inside the Commission with our colleague responsible for the other policy you mentioned, biodiversity, climate, and of course there will be clear co-creation inside the Commission for such action plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. And I have a second question. How can the plan of the EU Commission be linked to the national and regional action plans?
But that is clearly what I said in my statement, that the member state has a role to play. And in particular, for example, in the CAP, when they will have to prepare the strategic plan, and I can imagine my Director General this morning mentioned this, they will have the role to play there. And the link will be in the different type of measures chosen by the member state. And of course, what I say, at EU level, we can do a lot, but we cannot do all the things. So it has to be a clear cooperation with the member state. Thank you.
A question to Thomas. From your point of view, what's the next important step to develop this plan?
Well, I think we've got quite good common basis of understanding what the plan needs to deliver, not only the 25% target, which is very concrete, but I agree as well with what Natalie has been saying. The action plan as such is not a policy, it's not a fund, but it can include strong commitment, especially for those areas where DG Agri is responsible for, but as well, and I think that's really crucial, for other areas, other DGs are involved, and especially on the member states level. So that's a good common basis. I understand that the European Commission is going for a public consultation. I think it's going to be very important that we feed all our ideas into this process. I guess a lot of the ideas will come up in the breakout sessions later on, so I'm very keen to learn about new ideas as well. And I agree as well that it needs a strong involvement of the member states. When it comes to the CAP, for example, we agree it's a crucial policy, and at the same time, the European framework is giving more and more of the responsibility to the member states level. And there needs to be a clear link between the implementation on member states level and on European Union level.
Thank you, Thomas. And my question to Thomas and Natalie, have you any questions, Natalie to Thomas or Thomas to Natalie?
Yes, but the question will be, of course, it's more a recommendation. I can imagine that you have your own action plan inside your organization, and we have already received some suggestions, but we need clearly to in contact and to have this development, because you are the first concerned by this action plan.
If I may respond, Peter?
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you for this offer. I think we are in a very good exchange with the European Commission on the future action plan. Our doors are always open, and we will continue to contribute, and we are always available for discussions. I have a concrete question, because we consider as well capacity building of the organic sector as one crucial key element for the future action plan, because capacity building of especially umbrella organizations in Europe is very important to get a timely and consolidated response from the organic sector, and to increase the capacity of the sector to for the development of for example, the supply chain and corporations. Do you consider capacity building as being a part of the future action plan?
Yes, that could be. We are quite open concerning the different type of action, but I think the organization is important for us. And not only at farming level, but also the different part of the chain, and that is something we try to see how we can contribute to that. But also in the CAP, you have already the possibility to have some measure there, and that will be also means to improve that. But we have some ideas, for example, concerning the market as such, the market observatories as well. We can see what can be done on that, but capacity. Okay.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much for your sharing your insights. Now it's time for the breakout sessions. We will see each other afterwards for the reaction on the breakouts, and for the action on the breakouts. And I give to Joyce.
Hello again, Peter, and thank you for that short dive into the European Organic Action Plan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a great pleasure for us to guide us through the breakout sessions. Actually, it's really easy. Every session will discuss one topic more specifically. The overall topic of the breakout session is how Organic Action Plan can be a powerful tool. And then you can choose between 3 options. First option would be how Organic Action Plans can be a powerful tool to make farming more resilient. So who will be our speakers there, Peter, and what can we expect?
Well, breakout session 1 will especially look at the farmer's perspective of what is needed for organic action plans to be effective and make farming more resilient and more organic. With Ylva Sjölin, an organic farmer from Sweden, and Fiona Marti, she's a policy officer from FNAP, the French organization, the French Organic Farmers Federation. BOEWL board member Alexander Gerber is going to moderate this session.
All right, thank you. So secondly, we have how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to strengthen the organic value chain. What can our guests expect in there, Peter?
Breakout session 2 will look at the processors and traders' perspective of what is needed for organic action plans to be effective and straighten the organic value chain. Speakers are Jānis Garanš, Managing Director of the company Alojas Terkelsin in Latvia, and Maria Rita Kortila, she's the Director of the Finnish Organic Food Association, ProLumo. Alexander Beck from the German Processors Association AOL will moderate this session. In this session will also include a recorded statement of Volker Krause from the organic company Olsener Mühle.
Thanks, also very interesting, but we also have a third option, and that is how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to promote organic conversion through more organic demand. Peter, why should I join in here?
Breakout session 3 looks at the retailer's perspective and what's needed for organic action plans to be effective and how to promote organic conversion through more organic demand. Speakers will be Kira Faenza, CSR manager from Coop Italy, and Paul Holmbeck, who is a consultant from Denmark and the former policy officer of Organic Denmark. Lukas Nossol, board member of IFOAM Organics Europe, will moderate this session. During the sessions, you are very welcome to ask questions and to share your experience.
All right, thank you. And no worries, ladies and gentlemen, you won't miss anything because, I repeat, after these breakout sessions, we join back on main stage to discuss the results of the breakout sessions. And now let us have a look at how to enter the breakout sessions. As you can see on your screen, you have 3 buttons. Use button 1 and 3 to join in Zoom meetings. Okay, short notice directives offer here. It's breakout session 1, press that and you will join in a Zoom meeting. Breakout session 3, there will pop on a window and you have a go-to meeting anyway. So for those sessions, you have to click on the buttons and please do it within the next minutes, all right? If you want to join in breakout session 2, just stay with us and we do it in this tool right here. All right, another technical note. If you want to join Zoom or GoToMeeting, please make sure that you mute this session here with a click on the loudspeaker button down in your screen. And another short note, if you have to leave this session here because your internet connection is not that stable, you can rejoin afterwards with your link that you used to join the session anyways. All right, so make sure you press the buttons 1 or 3 to join in the meetings. Yes, we make a short break. Peter, thank you for warming us up. We're looking forward to the sessions now. Ladies and gentlemen, we now take a short break and then you dial in back. See you at the EOC at around 12:20 a.m. Goodbye.
Thank you for being part of the European Organic Congress 2020, organized by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. It's time for a break. Thank you and see you soon. European Organic Congress 2020, organised by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. And now, please welcome your host, Joyce Möbius.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. After that short break, welcome back to the European Organic Congress, Organic in Action, brought to you by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL. Right now, you're in breakout session 2. And in here, we really want you to interact with us. And for all the people out there who were not in here before, I show you really quick how that works. Down there, you can see our emoji buttons. You give direct feedback with them. So you can clap or give a thumbs up to our speakers. In our chat, you can send in messages, for whatever topic you want to share there. Or, of course, you can always send in questions. Down on your screen on the left side, there's an envelope. Please type your question in here. And do it in English, because that's our Congress language. Or if you're better with German, go on the Settings button down there and switch language. So, sehr verehrte Damen und Herren, Sie können unten im Einstellungsrädchen auf Deutsch wechseln. All right, so we are very happy that you decided to join Breakout Session 2 with the title, How Organic Action Plans Could Be a Powerful Tool to Strengthen the Organic Value Chain. Wonderful that we have a great organic expert and moderator on board with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage the chairman of the Association of Organic Processors from Germany, Alexander Beck. Hey there, Alex. Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Hey, Joy. Yeah, it's fine. Joyce, I haven't seen you since a long time, I think. 3-4 months where I had no chance to visit Berlin. So good to be back here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are very happy that you're the moderator of this breakout session today. And I just say, Alexander, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much to have you with us, our audience, for this breakout session today. And first of all, I can invite our speakers. So we will have 2 guests. It's the panelists coming from, one panelist is coming from Latvia. It's Jānis Grančs from Aloja Staršana, and it's a director from Finnish Organic Food Association Prolumo, Marja Rita Kotila. Hey, Marja. Hey, Jānis, good to see you this afternoon. Yeah.
Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
And thank you for having us here.
From which place you are? Everybody. Yeah, good afternoon. Marja, where you are calling from? You're hailing from?
I'm calling almost from Helsinki. It's a capital area, not exactly Helsinki, but almost in Helsinki.
Okay, thank you very much. And Jānis, you are in?
I'm in Aloja.
It's Aloja. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for being with us, with the whole group for this breakout session on what can the food chain contribute toward an organic action plan. And first of all, I'd like to introduce you, Marja Rita. I think I have heard you are 20 years active in the organic sector, and you are the executive director of Prolumo since it was founded in 2011. And as we already heard, Prolumo is the Finnish organic national corporation for the organic food chain. So it's good to have you today with us. And welcome to Jānis. Jānis is the director of Aloja Staršana, who is representing the board of Latvian Organic Agriculture Association, Latvian Food Bioeconomic Cluster, and finally, Jānis is a board member of the European Organic Processor and Trade Association. So it's quite happy to have you with us. Maybe you could Maria Rita, could you give us a bit an insight how you was converted to be an organic professional? What is the reason why?
Okay, I have been interested in organic farming ever since my agricultural studies, but the real commitment to organic food came when I promoted organic consumption. In that position, I really realized that it's not enough to work only with consumers and tell them what organic means, but it's necessary to encourage all actors in the organic value chain to cooperate to the same direction. And that's what BOEWL is doing now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. We will hear more about your work later. And Janis, you need to give us a secret. Where Aloja is really located, where it is?
Yes, Aloja is a small town in the north part of Latvia, close to east coast of Baltic Sea. If you look on a map, it's somewhere in between Riga and Tallinn. And there we have our factory for processing.
Thank you very much, Janis. I really very much can recommend to the audience to visit Aloja because it's a beautiful city or village, and it is a beautiful lake where you find, I would say, moving islands. That is really something very, very exciting to see there. And I think I assume it's the only place in the world you can find something like that. So but now before starting with our debate and starting with your presentations or with your statements, we have the pleasure to have a bit look into another movie, and we have the pleasure to listen to the board member of BOEWL, being himself a processor, and it's Volker Krause from Bolzener Mühle in north of Germany. Thank you very much. You have the stage.
Hello. When we started in 1979, there were almost no organic farmers in our region. So we persuaded farmers to convert to organic and initiated a farmers cooperative that now includes more than 100 organic farms. Many organic food processors share such history. They don't stop transformation processes after substituting conventional raw materials by organics, but help revitalizing and developing rural areas by creating attractive, sustainable jobs that motivate employees and their families to stay in the region. However, the importance of food processors is rarely reflected in organic action plans. The focus tends to be on agriculture, ignoring the interdependency between farming and processing. If more farmers convert to organic, this will result in an increase of diversity of crops, qualities and varieties. So we need a similar diversity in processing companies whose character enables them to treat these diverse raw materials. Giant food processors, typical for the conventional sector, do not want diversity. They need uniform, standardized raw materials. Like many small and middle-sized organic processors, we in our company, for example, process 30 different crops into hundreds of products, offering our farmers a fair long-term partnership. We need targeted support for organic processors in action plans. CAP payments and other schemes from ministries of agriculture only offer payments for farmers, like subsidies for organic certification or extension services, while ministries of economics mainly support growth or innovative technologies, not sustainability. Organic model regions are the first step toward a more holistic approach in action plans, but we also need a change in economic and rural development policy. We have to stop wasting billions on subsidies for fossil fuels or airports, but start investing the taxpayers' money where it can produce the best results, into more organics, including organic processors. Thanks and have an inspiring discussion.
Yeah, thank you very much to Volker's introduction here to the task. You could easily see Volker is running a company which is completely oriented toward organic products and very strongly also based on local supply. This is a special situation, and I think during the next minutes or we will have the chance really to reflect a bit on its thesis. But first of all, I would like to hand over to Maria Rita for her statement, and I would like to ask you, when you give your statement, maybe you could give us a bit of reflection even to what you have heard from Volker. Maybe you have a bit of feedback or thoughts reflecting to its statements. Thank you very much. You have the stage, Rita.
Thank you very much, Alex, and thank you for the opportunity to give this presentation. In Finland, we have really a government development program for the organic sector. Its aim is to increase organic production, diversify the range of organic products, and improve their access in retail stores and professional kitchens as well. It has a couple of measurable targets, which should be achieved by 2020, so this year. They are the share of the area under organic production and share of organic food in public food services. Both should be 20%. Although we already know that those targets will not be met and there are not very many measures targeted for processors, this program has been a useful tool also from processors' point of view. It has delivered them an encouraging signal that the organic sector is one of the emphasis of the Finnish food policy. They can somehow rely on that there will be more organic farming, producing raw material for processors, and some support also for creating more demand for organic products. One demand encouraging measure which has been successfully implemented in Finland is European School Scheme. In Finland, the subsidy for organic products has been higher than for conventional products, and it has really paved the way for especially organic milk to schools and kindergartens. Based on the experiences of the Finnish action plan, I'd like to emphasize some important points. Measurable targets, budget to implement program, and reliable ways and processes to evaluate the achievement. Measures to encourage both organic production and demand are also very important point, as I said here already before. And also, as we heard in the video, examples, special measures to encourage organic processing are also needed. I think that this farm advisory system should be developed so that farmers who will start organic processing could get expert advice also for product development and processing. And I really like to underline expert advice. The rural development program should also have emphasis on creation and development of companies processing organic food. And then better market transparency in order to understand the trade of organic products inside Europe and globally. Some methods should be developed to collect data in the intra-EU trade statistic and globally through customs declarations. Thanks for your attention, and now I would hand back to Alex.
Thank you very much, Marja-Rita. Thank you very much for these insights and even your proposals you brought forward how to do a good action plan, in fact, and based on your experience in Finland. And this gives me now the possibility to hand over to Janis. Janis, you have now the floor for your statement. Thank you very much.
Yes, Alex. We are producing organic functional ingredients, potato starch and pea protein flours from locally grown potatoes and peas, and on the other hand, we are supplying our ingredients and new organic foodstuff production technologies all over the world, mostly in Europe, but also United States and fastly developing Asia market. We are active in organic market already more than 14 years and had passed through incredible development process, started with one batch per year produced from one farm crop, and now one of leading producers in our sector worldwide. For us, the main challenge was to create from the scratch full vertical integrity, starting with scientific institutions for choosing the best and breeding in new varieties, seed production development, and creating sustainable agriculture practices. It was possible in Latvia as there was good national support for organic agriculture development, and now more than 14% of all arable land in Latvia is organic certified. On the other hand, we had perfect size plant. You can say a craft starch factory where to develop specialized products and supply consumers with tailor-made solutions. Now the main challenge in the future is in all sectors of organic movement is upscaling. We must change our whole society thinking about organic from some small niche market and short-term fashion to sustainable base for whole food chain. Organic is a mainstream product. I think that development should come from consumer understanding and support to organic product consumption. Companies automatically will follow to this demand, so policy makers should use those basic market economy tools and focus firstly on public education about sustainable and organic food products for all age groups. Next, but the same important is economical tools, and the best there would be true cost accounting system implementation in whole value chain. In agriculture, by principle, polluter pays, in processing, by limiting artificial additives, in transport, and also in taxation system, like zero VAT for organic food. Of course, critical they are to implement synchronized measures all over Europe to escape any discrimination and market distortions. Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yannis. Thank you very much for sharing with us your thoughts. I think we have two interesting viewpoints on the desk. One viewpoint from Maria Rita, really looking for the national action plan, and Yannis, you are much more arguing as an industry representative and a bit arguing in a direction to say, I would summarize in a way, the farm to fork strategy has within its concept a kind of pre-test, and that is organic action plan. It's a 25% of organic, which is, I would say, like a pre-test for overall switch of the food system into a more sustainable one. Okay, thank you very much for this. I have already heard that there are a number of questions around from the audience here, and we should really give the audience now the floor. Yes, thank you. Feed in the first questions. When you look at the organic food chain as it is now, where do you see the main elements that needed to be further developed, particularly regarding the technologies? Yannis, I think that is first-hand a question maybe to you.
Yeah, it is a very important issue for development of new organic foodstuff products to find the ways how to produce any existing foodstuff that we have in organic without artificial additives, and that is possible. That is proving case by case all over Europe and worldwide that it is possible to use natural and in nature find the solutions how you can create a new products without artificial additives.
Yeah, thank you, Yannis. Maria Rita, I know you have even worked in research in the past. Could you maybe share even your thoughts with us in the direction of innovations and research?
Yes, thanks. I think it's very important, and I think that we have to look the consumer trends, which is now very heavy for plant-based food and all sustainable food, but plant-based food. And I think in Finland and I think in many other countries also, we don't have too many organic plant-based food. And that's one issue which I want that the technology should help us to get more these kind of products on the market.
Okay, thank you very much, both. I think it is asking for, I would say, research programs oriented toward organic food processing, transfer of organic raw materials ready for, I would say, sustainable diets, sustainable healthy diets. Okay, but I heard there are more questions around, so please feed in the next question. Okay, what kind of strategies can convince consumers to change their eating patterns toward a more sustainable direction? Do you have ideas about that? Maybe Maria Rita, you would like to start because you already has mentioned this as an important topic, yeah?
Yes, I think that one concern in Finland anyway is now that how organic would remain as a sustainable choice in consumers' mind. And because the sustainable trend is so strong, so there will be more labels, and there will be a lot of brands which also are marketing as sustainable, and how organic in that sense will stay in consumers' minds as like a forerunner of sustainable food. So I think it needs just more discussion, it needs more promotion, and it also needs more research to tell consumers that what's the differences between different labels, and what's all the benefits you get by eating organic food.
Thank you, Maria Rita. Yannis, would you like to add something? What is your perspective toward the demand-driven market? How we can encourage consumers to choose for organic?
Yes, I think that all organic movement, basic strategy, all organic movements basis is good argument for consumers to use organic products. But the problem, I think, is that there's a huge disproportion between information flow from mass media about conventional food and organic food. So that's why I think would be quite important to improve and to give more resources for organic promotion.
Okay, thank you very much. Another very concrete action plan, European action plan, national, but questions around. Please feed in the next question. In your opinion, what key elements are there to convince the food industry to start investing in product concepts? Maybe this time starting with Yannis. You have an idea? What are the drivers for the industry?
Yeah. Yes. As I told in my short speech, the way how you can pursue organic processors or foodstuff processing companies to move towards organic is to create a consumption. And so if we educate society and on all ages, starting from kindergarten, and also adults and elderly people, to educate what is advantages of organic. So, and by that creating a consumption, also processing companies will follow.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Yannis. Maria Rita, you have proposals, you have concepts in place in Finland to increase the demand, to make the industry aware of the market and makes them investing in new products, new concepts, maybe new production plants?
I agree with Janus that creating more demand is the key factor in that, and there are many measures. This public kitchen is an important factor in Finland anyway, because we have a quite strong public food sector, and that's one solution. But I think that we had somehow find the ways how we could help the food industry to see the potential of organic market, and that's one reason that I said that the market transparency is a very important issue as well.
Okay, thank you, Maria Rita. Yes, I think we can go for the next question. Please feed in the next question. Okay, how did the government in Finland and Latvia support the development of a strong organic processing structure? Is there any support around? Maybe we'll start this time with Maria Rita again.
There are not any special support for that. There is of course this rural development program in Finland is quite large. And inside of that program, it's also possible. But then it's a question about if there are active companies and active actors to utilize these possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Maria Rita. Yannis, how it looks in Latvia? Is there a supporting system around?
Yeah, in Latvia, of course, it's limited, and we would like to have more, but there is quite a good advantage system for investment support, because if you have investment in organic processing, you have extra points in investment support programs, and also most of big investment support programs from government in food industry in Latvia is also done for organic processing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, maybe you feed in the next question. We have time for another questions. What is your position regarding so-called lab food? Confusing that more and more organic stakeholders believe that this is a future of organic too. What do you think about that? Who would like to start? Maybe Yannis this time? Lab food?
I'm not so familiar with this lab food concept, but what I would like to say is that organic doesn't mean that you have to go to very simple food and go back to historical food. So I think also new modern kitchen can be organic, and if you implement organic principles in a modern restaurant or modern kitchen, I think that is fully acceptable and developing organic movement in general.
Thank you, Yannis. Maria Rita, is lab food or maybe food design, is this a task in organic community in Finland? Do the people in Finland demand for such kind of products?
Yes, I don't think everybody maybe has their own notion that what does it mean, but there is a lot of discussion about this. But I think it's mainly from that is it more sustainable when you make it in lab and very effective way? That's one issue. But I agree with Yannis in that sense that. Which we have also emphasized all the time is that organic processors should be innovative. They should create new kind of products and maybe a little bit different from those which are conventional versions. And then many kind of methods and maybe even a technology is needed to create these kind of products.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Maria Rita. Yes, I think we have more time. Please feed in the next question. Are local regional food systems a realistic concept for organic future? What do you think about that? Maybe start again with this time with Maria Rita. Is the Finn consumers food industry, which is oriented toward organic products, now really thinking in, I would say, local distribution chains and supply management?
From Finnish perspective, local food and domestic food is very appreciated. It's valued by consumers quite much, and I think especially now after this COVID crisis, so pandemic, I think it's even more important than before. But we have to think that we are only 5 million people in Finland, and we have not so many possibilities it's not possible to produce all kind of products in Finland because we are situated so far north. So I think that totally domestic and short local food system is not possible. But I think that there are areas and maybe there are products where should be developed more local food systems.
Okay, thank you very much. And Yannis, how it looks for Latvia, but even for your company, you have already started to say you are active now in worldwide market. How this interacts with local food systems? Could you give us an insight to that?
Yeah, it's two ways thinking, because locally here in Latvia, the majority of at least the biggest part of organic foods are supplied directly from farmer to consumer groups, and that sales is bigger than via supermarkets. But in our case, we are innovative company. We are developing ingredients, functional ingredients with quite small dosages you need. So that's why we are providing worldwide organic producers with specific solution.
Thank you, Yannis. Thank you very much. So I got the information that we can have more questions. So please feed in the next question. In your opinion, what is the most impactful rule that organic food processors could have in an European organic action plan? Yes, I will hand it now to Yannis. Yannis, what is your idea? What is, I would say, the first priorities when you look at the organic action plan at European level? And what the rule of the processors should be there?
Yeah, I think processors should take a leading role in describing a good organic foodstuff production technique and practice. So that's why we should be a good partner with agriculture part, with control bodies, with consumer and retailers. But processors is somewhere in as a cornerstone of all this process.
Yeah, I always like to say I would say in this game the processor is really the translator from organic raw material to consumer foods. Yeah, so and we have to transfer the raw materials into something which is demanded by the consumers. That is, we are the translators in this game. But Maria Rita, maybe you have ideas how the rule looks like for organic processors and what are the key elements? Maybe even addressed in the action plans.
It's difficult to say, but I see it in the same way that the processors is a very important link between consumers and farmers. They should play a very important role also for the next action plan. Maybe the action plan has been too much oriented to agriculture. So I think that it should be, the former action plans. I think even in Finland and in many other countries as well. So I think that maybe processors should be more involved in when the new action plans is processed, that the ideas are coming in the action plan and the measures are also discussed with them.
Thank you, Maria Rita, that it was exactly what was even Volker Kraus has stating, that there is, I would say, an underestimation of the role of the processors within the food chain. And I heard that we have a last question. We have time for a last question. Please feed in the last question. Maria and Yannis, what is the solution in your countries on organic processing infrastructure? How can we raise the amount of the small mills, dairies and butcheries? Do you have an idea? Maybe start this time with Maria Rita, how to raise the amount of those, I would say, small and medium-sized operation active for organic production or for organic processing. Maria Rita, you have an idea or already experience?
The development has gone to the other direction. So those small outlets for processing has gone down and they have been increased bigger and bigger. In Finland, the normal situation, most of the organic food comes from the processors which has also conventional and then organic. And the conventional is more bigger share of the companies normally. And then there is a small organic line. And that's maybe one problem in Finland. I don't know if it's a big problem, but anyway, it's a reality that it is so. And maybe that also makes it a little bit difficult for processors to keep them separate. And this should be maybe one issue that we should think about, that is there something to do. But anyway, I think that the key factor is there, that how can we get the processors to see the potential of organic market, and then they may be willing to invest more to organic lines and organic products.
Thank you, Maria Rita. Yanis, how it looks with small and medium-sized enterprises, food enterprises in Latvia. Is there a structure around? Is this structure active in organic, or what you can tell us from your country?
The driving force for small and medium-sized processing companies anyway is consumption. And if consumption is growing, also the new startups can start up and start to produce. And that is happening in Latvia. We have today more than 300. Latvia is quite small country, so for us, 300 processing companies in organic, it's quite a number. Another good thing in Latvia is that, or advantage in Latvia is that we had already not so big processing plants at all. In our case, we had a small craft size starch factory where we are producing, where we are able to switch from conventional to organic in a major scale.
Thank you, Yanis. Thank you, Yanis, and thank you, Maria Rita, for joining with us this breakout session, for discussing with us the different questions coming in, for providing us your statements and insights in your activities and in your experience. I have to say many thanks to the audience, put it forward a lot of interesting and I would say inspiring questions. And now I have the pleasure to hand back to Joyce.
Hello again, Alex. You had a really great session, really interesting. And I wonder, what do you think now, listening to Maria Rita and Yanis, and from your own experience, when does an organic action plan become a really powerful tool to strengthen the organic value chain then?
Yes, I think we heard a lot of interesting information, which I think we need to digest it a bit later on. But it was clear that what was already stated by Volkert, that maybe the rule of the processor as a translator within the chain from the raw material to the, I would say, the product which is demanded by the consumers is a central one and maybe needs to be underlined. That's important. We have heard about the rule of the small and medium-sized companies, which depends a bit on a structure established in a country. And we heard about research. That was even for me quite interesting to understand that research is really needed for, I would translate it in a way to say research which is facilitating the organic, or I would say a transfer of the food system along the chain into a sustainable one. Here is really a lack of information and knowledge which needs to be filled with useful research and good results. So that's for me the main elements, and I would like to add finally saying that from the perspective of the post-farming sector, it's quite important to say, and we heard it a bit from Maria Rita, that it looks a bit different, because on the farm side we always think there is an organic farm, there's a non-organic farm. The reality of the post-farming looks different. The very most operations are mixed operations in reality, and they do the conversion inside their operations, and here we need really a good structure and a good support. Advisory service, what we heard from Maria Rita again, that this kind of conversion is done successfully and driven by the demand of the consumers. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you again, Alex. And I just heard from the director that I would ask you another question, but I should move on because we have to get back to main stage. But before that, because we had a lot of listeners, audience in our breakout session, around 300 people, I think we should ask them about their opinion on that topic. Don't you think?
Yes, we should. We should know what they are thinking.
Yeah, sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need you. In the next interaction, we show you a question and you can choose one or multiple answers. So, the question is, how do you think national governments or the European Commission can best strengthen the organic value chain? Please start now. Okay, let's have a quick look at the results. I think the winner is increasing the awareness. So, Alex, what do you think about the answers?
When you have listened to our colleagues, which we had in a panel, then you understand it's clear. The demand is driving the industry, is driving the sector, and they are reacting on the demand. And if I would say the conscience of the people out there in Europe are turned to a more organic conscious for taking responsibility for sustainability, and their behaviors, consumption patterns will be changed into a more organic, sustainable direction, then something moves, and that needs to be facilitated maybe by an action plan, on transnational and national level.
Yeah, good to go back to our main topic now. Thank you, Alex, again for moderating the session, and we see you later on the reactions. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Beck. And thank you all for participating. It was really lovely to have you here. After a short break, Peter Röhrig from BOEWL will take over together with the other moderators of all 3 breakout sessions. They will discuss the key findings. We see each other again in 2 or 3 minutes, so please stay here and goodbye.
Thank you for being part of the European Organic Congress 2020, organized by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. It's time for a break. Thank you and see you soon. European Organic Congress 2020, organised by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the session Organic in Action, the Power of a Good Plan. It's good to be together again with all of you. If you have just joined us now, I'm happy that you are here. This summary in the next 30 minutes will give you a good overview. We are looking forward to the results, to the breakout sessions. And after that, at the end of today's European Organic Congress, we will give you a preview for tomorrow. Let's start with a breakout session 2 entitled How Organic Action Plans Can Be a Powerful Tool to Straighten the Organic Value Chain. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the European Commission, Nathalie Soes van der Wever, from IFOAM Organic Europe, Thomas Fertel, and from the Association of Organic Processors, Chairman Alexander Beck. Hello and welcome back. Natalie, did you have the chance? Hello. Natalie, did you have the chance to have a cup of coffee just now, or were you at the breakout sessions? At the breakout session?
No, I was following this breakout session, taking my lunch at the same time, organic, but it was very interesting, and I'm listening now the summary of this session.
That sounds fine. And Thomas, did you find your way back from Vienna to our Congress here all right?
Yes, of course. I never left. I've been following the sessions as well. So I even have not had my organic lunch so far. But don't worry, I'm fine.
Okay, great. And hello, Alex. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah.
Lunch will be later, for sure.
Did you have many questions from the audience had in your session?
Yes, we got a lot of feedback and a lot of questions was put it forward by the audience. So we have really could take full use of the time available. And I think presumably we could have a time-consuming exchange, but as we all know, the time is limited in our online session here. Yeah.
I'm glad. Alex, we are very curious about the results of the breakout session. Please tell us the main results produced in your group. Alex, please take over.
Yeah, yes, it's a pleasure to do that. It's for sure it's not easy because we had a lot of discussion and a lot of elements was brought forward, and I think we need afterwards to evaluate what was really in and what can be used for the for the action plan and can provide it to the Commission and so on. First of all, I would like to stress that we have here in front. Excuse me, I have a technical problem. I hear me now myself at a headset. Something is wrong. Technics are questions. Something is wrong here. Now it's working. Okay. Thank you very much for helping me. There was something wrong with my headset. I had heard myself directly, and that is really extremely confusing. So back to you. I think one message was very clear from my point of view. Processing has a key role in translating organic raw material to products ready for the consumption for the consumers. So ready for the shops. And this rule is maybe underestimated in the past in actions planned. It needs this rule needs to be strengthened because it's a quite, I would say, a bottleneck for the whole system. And once again, we need to face in the farm to fork strategy, we are speaking about 25% of organic in 10 years. That means a growing market from 11 to 12% per year all over Europe. And that is already a challenge for the whole sector. So the demand will be one of the very, very important sides we really have to look on, and where the action plan have to take action. How to transfer the organic values to the consumers and convince them that it's the right direction for the future and for them personally. Then we had a discussion about research. Research topic was quite important, that there is a need for having a better results available and how to further develop a sustainable food chain, and how to further and how to implant it into all food chain in Europe. We had another element which was quite interesting. It was an element of small and medium-sized companies, which are in some countries are available and can be installed, can be used for development. Markets, but maybe here is an advisory service needed, as we have it at the farm side, because it's small and medium-sized operations. So that are some elements from our breakout sessions. There are much more within the basket which we put together in the last half an hour, but this will be elaborated later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. Now we have 5 minutes to talk about the results. And what's your first question to Natalie or Thomas to start the discussion?
I would be, because this was one of the main topics. It was is a new action plan now at your desk, Natalie? Is this having a stronger position toward the organic industry, the processing industry, and you have set up already some proposals how to support it? That is one element, and the other element, what you are doing or what you are planning at the side of demand. What you are planning to do in the direction what I pointed out as the most important topic, how to enforce the demand for such kind of sustainable organic products.
So it's really an important element of the action plan. As I explained in my statement, we will try to have this balance between demand and growth of the sector. But to increase the demand, one of the elements is the awareness of the organic product as such. And the awareness, it's one possibility, it's the promotion. And this week we had already present to the member state the draft work program for the promotion for next year, for 2021. And we will have a specific topic for the first time concerning organic, because in the past organic was already there, but it was mixed in the quality product in general. And I must say that we received more proposal for GIs than for organic. And now we are putting really a specific topic for organic. That is the first action we are doing, not waiting the action plan, but we will reinforce this in the future. What I heard also, it's the school scheme. We will try to see how to improve the system for school scheme, because it's a success as such, but we have to encourage the member state to use this possibility to have organic products at school, and that is also an important element for increasing the demand. So that is the first idea, but of course after public consultation probably we will have other elements. And to come back one point, it's also linked to the supply chain and the local things. We will try to see how to improve also this possibility to have actions to increase the local production, and the CAP can do something for that.
Okay. And could I ask one question back? Did you have measures set up for processors, maybe for small and medium-sized processors, something in terms of training, education, advisory service?
But, it's true that we have a look more for the farming, but through the research we can, I think, help our research program, we can help the processor to innovate, and because the innovation will be one possibility to increase also the type of product, but they need to have the farmers, they need to have the consumers. So we are working for them through these two angles, but also with research and innovation. And again, inside the CAP with the European Innovation Partnership, we can do something for them.
Thomas, do you have some questions to this topic here?
Well, yes, I would to add one specific point I'm missing so far. I've been following this session as well, and I understood it exactly like Alex has been summarizing it. First of all, it's the market driving the processes in the end, but secondly, don't forget about us in the Organic Action Plan and in generally in developing organic food and farming. And I would really like to advocate to additionally to the measures which were mentioned. Don't forget about other funds and other instruments that you must have. I mean, we know, for example, from good examples from Italy, where supply chains from the seed to the consumers have been developed according to the principles of circular economy, reducing food waste, and it was supported by several funds which were not mentioned at all so far. For example, social fund, cohesion fund. So the cohesion fund can support small and medium enterprises. The cohesion fund can support, for example, logistic solutions, and so on and so on. So I think what needs to be done in the action plan is to look into all this field of policies and instruments and to prioritize organic on the one hand and to promote the use of these instruments on member states level.
Thank you for this discussion, and this is the end of the report of the session 2. Alex, we have to say goodbye to you. Thanks for your report. Natalie and Thomas, please stay with us, okay?
Okay. Good luck. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, Alex.
So, we are moving from the producers to the retailers. It's time to get reaction on breakout session 2, how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to promote organic conversion through more organic demand. And we are now exciting a new guest on stage. Please give a warm-up welcome to Lukas Nossol, board member of IFOAM EU, Organics Europe. Hello, Lukas.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to our conference. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
We are really curious about results. Did you have a lively discussion in your breakout session?
Yes, we had a lively discussion and also some minor technical issues, but nothing we couldn't overcome.
Okay. Then now we are curious what you have to report. What were the important things you found out in your breakout session? The stage is yours, Lukas.
Okay, so thank you and hello everyone at the screens. So I'm trying to wrap up quickly what we managed to discuss and what we found out, what are our main learnings, you can say, from the breakout session regarding the increase of organic demand via organic action plans. This topic was discussed with Chiara Faenza. She is CSR manager at Coop Italy, and Paul Holmbeck, he is the former director of Organic Denmark. So first we talked about the good best practice cases you can see in Italy and Denmark, which are completely different countries, you must say, not only from the size, but also from the measures taken into organic or developing the organic market and so on. And at the end, we learned how Denmark achieved to have one of the highest, or not only one of the highest, but the highest market share of organic products in the world. And how is this able? Were they able to do so? So let me sum up some of the points. First, you can say that if you have powerful product brands, doesn't matter so much where they come from, but you need powerful products and brands to be able to communicate to the consumer. And you need to communicate the values of organic, and so you can establish a good connection and a strong trust to these values. So we need these brands as well. Secondly, you can say that organic farming should be a central tool in broader policies. That's what we've seen in Denmark, like, for example, for nature, green growth, water protection, and so on. So if the politic makers see that this is a great tool to achieve other goals, then we will see a stronger support into all these organic actions. Third part, you can say that as well, that politics should go side by side, or better, hand in hand, you can say, with the professional organic sector. So we need professional organic sector representatives. And you can see in some countries that the politics can profit a lot from a strong organic NGO nationally, or umbrella organization, you can say. So it's crucial for many countries, not every country, but many countries, that capacity building in organic NGOs is happening. And we need to enforce this not as a first step, but everything has to happen simultaneously. As well, we identified some missing spots within the national and EU policies as well. But regarding the restricted time limit, I'm afraid we cannot go into too much details here. And at the end, we managed to undertake a quick poll with the audience and to get all the expertise sitting there at home, and to evaluate different measures we worked on in the group, and different measures and actions, how national governments or the Commission can push organic demand. And the result was quite interesting. So we had 4 options, and you cannot say that one is the golden measure and the rest is not so important. So the place 1 was the organic public procurement and consulting for public kitchens, and but all these 4 aspects quite on the same level. Secondly, true cost instruments like pesticide taxes, etc. On the third part, public campaigns for organic in total. And last but not least, capacity building in NGOs working on the market development. So that's the quick wrap up from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Lukas, for your quick wrap up and to share the results of your breakout sessions. I think, Natalie, what can we learn from Denmark? That is my first question. What can Europe learn from Denmark?
Yes, I must say I had the chance to participate in the BOEWL this year, and to meet the Danish people there, and I was really impressed from what they have done in the public administration and so in the canteen, and that will be clearly one of the idea we have of our action plan, how to use this best practice in the other member state. As mentioned, the Commission can do a certain number of things, but also the member state between them could also to have this share of best practices, and we can help them to have this share of best practices, of course. And with the green, what we say, the green public procurement, we can encourage all the things. So because we say always when we say, okay, organic in canteen, that will be more expensive. So for the consumer, they will have to pay more for the children or for their lunch. But according to the Danish, it's possible if you are mixing the policy to avoid waste and to have at the place the money can be used for buying organic products. So I think it's a very good example.
Of course, it's very interesting what they are doing in Denmark. Thomas, have you a comment to the results of the session?
Yes, I think as well that the reference to the Danish Organic Action Plan is very, very helpful, because it does exactly what IFOAM Organics Europe is asking for. It's following a comprehensive, holistic approach. So integrating the needs of the organic sector in several policies and instruments. And this includes as well, I would say, a coherent approach. Because, for example, if you wanna increase the share of organically farmed land. At the same time, of course, you need to make sure that organic inputs are available. And this means, for example, when it comes to the approval and evaluation of substances, that you need to have specific approval procedures for natural substances. So a comprehensive means as well, you need to go for a coherent approach. Or to give another example, boosting organic up to 25% means boosting GMO-free production. And if you want to do that, you need at the same time ensure that there is in the GMO legislation a clear traceability and labeling scheme, because otherwise the organic sector can simply not do that. So comprehensive and coherent approach is the key word, and I think the Danish example is a good one for that.
Thank you, Thomas. Lukas, have you a question to Natalie or Thomas?
Yeah, maybe one final question if the opportunity is there. So setting a good example is a good word. So maybe regarding the EU Commission, the Council, or the Parliament as well, even so it's not the responsibility of you, Natalie. Do you think we will witness the Commission, Council or Parliament setting a good example by putting organic on every table in their own canteens in Brussels?
Yes. No, probably we will try to do our best. Organic, perhaps it will be difficult, but it's clear that more sustainable food and organic will be part, but perhaps there will be not a monopoly for organic. But it's clear that I know that the Commission has launched a new public request for the next year, and that will be part of the and we need also to show the example. That's clear, but we must be careful also, because that we has not to be alone. That has to be done also at national level, because we will say, oh yes, see the official in Brussels, they are eating organic, but we have not the possibility to do the same. So it has to be together.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. Lukas, you have said true cost accounting was one of your main points, and Natalie, what's the discussion about this issue in Brussels?
Could you repeat a little bit the beginning of your question?
How is the discussion about true cost accounting in Brussels?
Tricky question. No, but it's as I said, we are discussing now a lot inside the defense services, and also with my colleagues, because I'm responsible for a certain number of subjects, but we are also to see with the colleagues inside the DG Agri, and so it's discussed, but I have no answer at this stage.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Natalie. The time for our conversion is running out. We are at the end of the discussion of session 3. Thank you, Lukas, for being with us and reporting. It became clear me what a good action plan needs. Goodbye, Lukas, Natalie, and Thomas. Thomas, stay with us again, please.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Lukas.
Bye-bye, Lukas. It's time to get some reaction to breakout session 1 and to welcome our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to German Association of Farmers, Organic Farmers, Food Producers and Retailers, Chair Alexander Gerber. Hi, Alexander.
Hi, Peter.
I hope everything went well for you, because you also had to change rooms. Did it work out well?
Yeah, up to now the technique functioned very well, but now I also hear me double as the other Alex. So maybe a question to the technique to change this.
Okay. They have done this, I know.
Yeah. Okay, now it's fine. Yeah. No, okay. not at all. I'm still hearing me double.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we take care about it. Just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's fine. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you to Düsseldorf. You know how many participants? You know how many participants were in your group, Alexander?
Yeah, we have had about 75 participants in our workshop.
Okay. Alexander, now it's time for your report and the topic: how organic action plans can be a powerful tool to make farming more resilient. Please tell us what you found out. Alexander, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We have had the workshop on the farm level, so how to make farming more resilient by organic action plans. And we have had two very experienced speakers. The one was Ylva Sjellin, a farmer from Sweden, with a lot of experience with measures how to sequestrate carbon. A very interesting practical perspective. And Fiona Marty from the French Organic Federation, which is responsible for the public relations on EU level. What we found out is that organic farming delivers a lot of positive impacts towards sustainable and more resilient farming, but that there are also more possibilities to make organic farming even more resilient, as, for example, agroforestry or the use of perennial crops. And so it was clear, this was one of our first conclusions, that this should be clearly addressed by the organic action plans. So how organic farming can be enhanced in total, but also how organic farming itself can be improved. And this should be driven, supported by the action plans. Then we talked about the coherence of policies, and we found out that the Common Agricultural Policy in its current architecture is one of the major obstacles towards more organic farming or towards more sustainable farming. So it is giving the wrong incentives, and this should be taken into account when now reforming or developing further the Common Agricultural Policy, that it really should be changed. Otherwise, we have two contradictory policies with, on the one hand, the Organic Action Plan, and on the other side, a Common Agricultural Policy which not really does fit to the goals of the Farm to Fork strategy. So this was one question then from the participants, as if the European Commission now has this Organic Action Plan and we are a European Union, if then not, it should be mandatory for all the member countries to have organic action plans. Then finally, we found out also with the support of the poll that the most important thing is that we need research and innovation on the organic level, and not only on the farming level, but this was already a conclusion of the two other workshops, but through the whole food chain. So how can we ensure that there is advisory work for the processors? How can we ensure that the public canteens also have the possibility to use organic food and the knowledge and the facilities to become able to use more organic food? And related to this, also the training and the knowledge transfer is very important, because we have a lot of experience. We already have some research, and the results should be delivered. And so we ended with two slogans given by the two experts on the panel. And Fiona, she said, we have the right goal, so let's make it happen. And the other slogan was, not more food, but better food. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Alexander, for the interesting report. Now we have time for question and answers and for statements. Natalie, it's a first. What do you mean about the report from Alexander?
Oh, I was very interested because I see different points on which we have already worked for the preparation of this action plan, and I fully agree with the conclusion that we need to go further. But perhaps to come back to the first point, to the CAP, because you have a statement that the ongoing or existing CAP is not in favor of the organic. I cannot totally share that, but okay. But it's clear that the proposal for the reform is going in the right direction. As you know, we have produced at the same time of the two strategies the fact that we have made an analysis that the proposal is in line with the Green Deal, and as you know, the farm to fork strategy is coming from in this context of the Green Deal. So perhaps there could be some improvement during the negotiation, but we are going in the right direction. So that will be. And you mentioned one thing, EKIS, or the knowledge transfer, and the fact that we need also to help the farmer for to receive all this knowledge, the results of the research, because from one side you have research, from the other side you have the farmer, and we need to have this bridge between two. But so that will be also one element of the new CAP. But it's still there because we are using the multi-actor approach in research for main of the program, and so the farmer are involved. And I'm coming back to Austria because we have what he calls himself a crazy farmer, Alfred Grant, who is working very well with us. He's an organic farmer and is also a demo farmer, and so it's only if we are working with the farmer that we have this possibility to arrive to that. And the national organic plan, it's clear that with the preparation by the member state of the strategic plan for the new CAP, there will be strong recommendation from the Commission concerning the organic elements. That's clear. So that's from my side.
Natalie, thank you. Thomas and Alexander, have you any questions? And we are in the last question for our session today.
Yeah, maybe just a remark and then a question to Thomas. Coming back to the Common Agricultural Policy, I think the main thing is that the incentive of the common policy is going into the wrong direction unless the measures are not really connected to more sustainable practices on the fields, and only connected to the support of having hectares of farmland. Maybe only to add what we worked out. And then a question to you, Thomas, because you are coming from a country I think it has the highest percentage of already cultivated organic land area in Europe. And maybe you can let know all the participants of the conference what you think, what the successful measures taken by your Austrian government led to this success.
Okay, is the floor already mine, Peter?
Yeah. The floor is yours, yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you, Alexander, for your report. This does not come by surprise that research and development and the CRP are the main policies you have been mentioning. But I'm very thankful that you have been mentioning as well that we need to look at the entire chain, and especially that we don't need to look only at extending the share of organic farmland, but as well supporting organic to further develop, getting even closer to its principles. When it comes to Austria, well, it's what I said. It's a mix, right? It's even not only action plans and political interventions. Because it's, of course, awareness of the consumers, it's the ambition of the farmers, but as well, it's public support. It's clear the use of existing instruments in order to support organic farming. And I think all these things together can make the change. So yes, we can. But of course, we have to use the instruments. Most of them are available, but they can be used in a much better way than they are used right now.
Our time together here on the podium is now at the end. Thanks to all of you. We have to say goodbye to Natalie, to Thomas, to Alexander. Thank you for the great discussion with you. You all can use it.
And all the best for the other part of the Congress. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and you all can use the emojis for that if you like that. I look forward to seeing you in person. Let's move to the next step. It's time to wrap up the day, and for the housekeeping notes, I will call our amazing host. Please come back on screen, Joyce.
Hello again, charming Peter. What an afternoon. So, how did it go for you?
Oh, it was fine. It was an intensive program with many questions, many answers, and many people who want to change agriculture and nutrition.
Yeah, and in your own perspective, in a few sentences, what would be a good plan to help organic flourish?
I think it's important to work together on the plan, because we know that continuing to do what we have done so far is not enough. And we should also look at the whole supply chain and the research. And it's really important that all regulations and guidelines are agreed towards to the 25% target, so that organic can grow and help to transform of agriculture and nutrition.
All right, thank you for that opinion. And I wonder whether the audience came to the same conclusion today. So like yesterday, we will see with a little interaction. So ladies and gentlemen, we ask you a question, you type in a word, and that results in a word cloud. Please make sure to write down only one word when a question is asked. And then you have 10 seconds. So the question is, what is your key takeaway of the day? You have 10 seconds from now. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Peter, so I see, for all of you that haven't been here yesterday, I see one word that I have seen yesterday, that's challenge, but we also have cooperation, coherence and awareness. Peter, what do you think about that result?
Oh, I think it's good words for this day, and I'm curious to see if, we will also find all these words in the action plan of the European Commission.
Yeah, that's to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention, your feedback, your interactions today. We hope to see you tomorrow when we discuss in our closing debate European agriculture and resilient food systems in a post-COVID-19 world. For further information, visit the Congress website, organic-congress-ifoam.eu.org. And Peter, thank you a lot hosting this afternoon. And maybe you have some last words for the audience now.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. Dear guests on screen all over Europe and in the world, in the cities and in the villages, in the offices, on the farms, in the dairies, butchers, bakeries and shops, at work or at home. Thanks to all of you to stay with us here and make the conference today great. See you tomorrow. Please take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining the European Organic Congress 2020 today. Organized by IFOAM Organics Europe and BOEWL, and with great support by our sponsors. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central European Time. Thank you and goodbye.